Hello, hello, hello! Hello, guys. Hello, Golden Foxy. Hello, VK Ghost. Hey, Olga Rock. How are you guys doing? Why is the music giving Toy Story vibes? It's just something that I plucked out from YouTube Studio. But yeah, welcome in, welcome in. Yep. I don't really know how to segue into like any like topics or whatnot, but welcome in, welcome in. Just waiting for a new release of the Legend Gundam Revive. Same. I mean, I've seen the Gundam base stream. It's literally night and day compared to the old one. I still have my old one. I do intend to review it, but I don't think like a review for it will lose any value, like when the new Legend Gundam comes out. Because the original plan was that I built that in my dorms, which was July of 2024, I think. Yeah, July 2024. And since then, I wanted to get to it, but nah, just a lot of crap happened throughout my life. But hey, at least we'll get like a comparison from me between the old and the new one. Hey, Master Ninja. It's giving me Toy Story vibes too. Yeah. Nah, it's just some jazz music that I plucked out from YouTube Creator Studio. So, is my avatar's mouth moving at all? Hey, Neon. I did set the volume cutoff to be a little bit higher. Excuse me. So I'm just trying to put the settings down. Real Naion hours. Yep. Do you like jazz? Not the sort of like improv jazz that Thunderbolt is known for, but I like the more chill coffee shop, cafe music sort of jazz. And trust me, I've had a long day today. Like waiting for me to do this stream was an arduous wait, because I was in for like, if you don't count the hours themselves, I was in for 6 days at work last week, just because they had to shut the warehouse on Sunday to do some maintenance. So that's why I had to make up like 4 hours in one of my rest days. And especially because last week was the debut stream and my test stream, and I haven't recovered from that. I haven't recovered from the bad drive, and I was literally in for 6 days. I was anticipating this because I really want to further settle into the changes, my avatar, all that kind of stuff. And like I said in the community post, I will be relisting the changes video when my next video comes out. So it's in the works, and let's get building while I yap about this, because today is the first of my 3 days off, and usually I think to myself, yeah, I should probably get some YouTube work done, and trust me, I did get some stuff done for today. But it's more like I recorded my voiceover for the Gundam Greek video, and did some basic editing, and just decided that nah, I'm not gonna be doing it today, just because I was so tired. I was so knackered from 6 days at work, and I swear to God, I swear to God, I heard somebody talk to me, but whatever. If you guys are interested to hear about my workplace, please feel free to sound off in chat. But I was in for 6 days in the freezer warehouse. It's cold, it's tiring. And granted, I did get some early finishes, because the orders there weren't as many orders coming in, and well, the managers were just feeling generous, to be honest. But I didn't necessarily recover like much from that, and now I'm here. The wait for this was extremely grueling, just because like I said, I want to settle in. Excuse me. Just came out of the shower and all. But I just want to settle into more of this like new type of content style while not betraying what attracted you guys to my channel in the first place. So I just want to, well, the good things take time, but I still want to keep putting in these changes. And honestly, I just wanted to stream with you guys. Not that primarily not because I'm excited to build Naion, because I am, but I wanted to settle in and just chat with you guys, like build up my streaming community, alongside my video community. And of course, I was also working on the Gundam Greek video whenever I can, and since there was so much on it, it's gonna be like an 8-9 minute video by the looks of the recording. It's gonna be a long one, and I was so impatient. I wanted to get to it, like focus a day on working on it, but just 6 days in, mate. 6 days in. And not necessarily good sleep on top of that. But now that we're here, I'm so glad I'm back on stream with you guys. I get to adopt the frankly adorable avatar again. So yeah, it was all worth it. Our favorite furry. Not Banshee. This is not a furry. This is like a furry, like I don't know if like I'm being mistaken on this, but a furry is literally like a humanoid animal, whereas I'm trying, like, it's more like a vixen for me. So it's just a human with anthropomorphic features. So it's more like a vixen. You know, if you guys know like Senko-san and the typical Nekos and whatnot, that's what I'm trying to go for. Like, because being like a full werewolf isn't exactly my my idea, my cup of tea. This gate is extremely awkward, and I don't know where I put my knife. But yeah, Reiji, my avatar is a fox. Hey ProStar, welcome in. Hey Chikatori, hello. Hey VK Ghost. Frankly, MJ, it's your channel. If people can deal with an avatar in the corner, that's on them. Yeah, fuck. You've put hundreds of hours into asking for nothing but people's time in return. Yeah. Although, actually, speaking of asking for stuff in return, I'm gonna pin my oh, I forgot to mute my my browser. I use Opera, so that's why there's some browser sounds. Speaking of asking for something in return, I'm gonna put my Real Grade Gundam Exia crowdfunder project in chat again. Where is it? Where's my page? My page, Real Grade Exia. There we go. I think my sponsor link is in the description as well. So if you guys feel generous enough, feel free to I'm still getting used to the streamer lobby edit thing. Okay. No, apparently it's not in the description. I'll put it in later, but I'll put the sponsor link to my Real Grade Exia crowdfunder project in chat. So just in case you guys feel generous enough, you guys can donate there. But don't feel obliged. It's just something that you can choose to do. So yeah. Bastard Ninja was funny enough. I was working on a custom kit based on something from Mercury. Hey Golden Foxy, which kits are you basing this off of? Because if you're basing it off of something from Pale Industries, then mate, what a freaky coincidence. Because the Gundam Naion is designed by Wataru Inata, who is famous for like I forgot which armored core he's most famous in, but he also designed stuff like the Faract and the Zoort. This gate is absolutely annoying me. What the hell? Why did they put it in a corner like that? I'm doing this off camera just because I need the extra precision from looking at it closely. Volume's good on my end and avatar looking good. Thank you, Neon. Waited for 3 days. I've been waiting for 6. Yeah, I'm a fox. Fox bits are toggleable, if I remember correctly. Yes, it's toggleable. So I can put up, take off my glasses and I can just adopt human form. And I'm thinking of writing something like the Lesser Key of Solomon, depicting me as in like a being who can change forms. But I don't know if that's too cringe for you guys, but since one of my things is like being into demonology, I might as well make that a sort of thing that my avatar could do. Because essentially the idea behind my avatar is that it's me in a sort of more digital form. So that's why I'm also wearing still wearing the same matching blue knitwear. Well, you guys come from all over the place, so I wouldn't want to settle on a term, because over here in the UK we call stuff like these jumpers. But I know you guys in America and those who adopt American English, you call it sweaters. So yeah, having learned both versions of English, it isn't exactly easy to settle on a term. Wait, does Naion have 2 bits? Well, the Naion has 6 bits, but all of them are on their beam. All of them are on the beam rifles. Now it's a category. Yep, that's a category. Not a furry. I think the term is kemono mimi. Yep. I never heard of that term, but I can understand where it came from. Chance of SDBB Museum, Unicorn Plan B review someday. Maybe. Best focus. Kurama from Yu Yu Hakusho, Shippo from Inuyasha, Miles Tales, Sales Prowler, MJ, to name a few. Oh, come on, Reiji. That's flattering. So when are you gonna make a real great Avalanche Exia video? The idea is that I'm gonna... Well, the crowdfunding thing was just a test. So if you guys feel generous enough, you guys can donate to it. But the idea is that I get 2 real grade Exias. One as a vanilla version that I can use as a basis for literally any other Exia, real grade Exia review that comes along. And one is for an Exia repair. So the idea is that I do like a standard real grade Exia review, then I'll do the Avalanche one. Because I don't want you guys to refer to like a variant with a crap ton of extra stuff for is this supposed to be like this, or are those Chelsea those like safety gates? Okay, usually there would be a mold line there telling me where the gate is. Actually, I'm not gonna take the risk. I'm gonna look up the official art. Gundam Naion. So I will be covering the real grade Avalanche Exia at some point. And especially since I have like about... What is it? Oh, there's a bug in here. Since I have about 20 days off starting mid-February, because I have to use my annual leave, I'll probably be able to do like more stuff for the channel during my 20 days off. And especially because the weather will be warming up in February. Because as far as I remember, last time I did it, last time I went out to spray stuff in the backyard was in February. Coincidentally, that just so happened to be when I lost my mind with the Zagok and the Cavalier. But that's besides the point. But yeah, that's the idea. Good evening, Adonis. Good evening. He's most famous for White Glints for Armored Core 4 answer, if I remember correct. Yeah, I got conflicting accounts as to whether Wataru Hinata was famous for Armored Core 4 or 5. But glad we got that confirmation now. Mostly because I'm more of a tourist on Armored Core. The only way I wasn't into Armored Core was because of Armored Core 6. And I really don't want to bother with emulators and whatnot to play the previous titles. I really hope Bandai would port them over someday. Well, Bandai Namco and what is it? Just From Software will port them over, but that's highly unlikely. But I can definitely see like where the design language parallels each other. Be in Gundam mode. Master Ninja, I don't know if I want to commission Chikutori about that, especially when in his commission open notes saying no mechs. As far as I remember anyway. Chikutori, you feel free to correct me on that. Good morning, Yovi. Good morning. And he made the OG Optimus Prime. Wait, Wataru Inata did? I must admit, I do like the design of the suits from Vanitas Heart. I wonder what that does for Whisper Mercury's world that I wish the show would have shown. Yeah, honestly, I think Whisper Mercury has some good points and all, but I honestly feel like it's a show that falls short. If anything, I think Vanitas Heart was the series we should have gotten, because it immediately deals with the aftermath of the Vanitas incident and expands on the whole Gund research technology thing. And obviously Kiyu Lavitz is a charming kid, but there's like a sort of darkness behind him. Like, as far as I've read, like, because I'm not up to date with the chapters of Vanitas Heart. And by the way, I'm gonna, are you guys opposed to me using stream footage on a review? Because I want to show off that it's backlight. I want to show off that there is no molding for the shell units. If the camera would frickin' focus, that would be great. There we go. There is no molding for the shell unit patterns. So you either have to go at it blind or just use the stickers. And with the Gundam Naion, there's a new thing called permanent flux that allows it to levitate in the air. So it's kind of like Minovsky Craft in some ways. So I don't know how that will reflect on the pattern and whatnot, but it's a bit of a shame that they don't have the shell unit patterns. But it's a high grade. I can forgive them for that. And honestly, with patterns like that, I more or less treat whatever molding we get as a bonus. But what was I talking about again? Whisper Mercury, yeah, Whisper Mercury Vanitas Heart deals with the and there is some sort of darkness because there are flashbacks from when the Gundam the Frith Jew was just slaughtering people, and after the fight between the Jew and the Anavata, we know that Kiyu Lavit was capable at least of raising the permit score and just wreaking havoc. So there's this underlying dark tone that constantly looms over the series that is directly correlated with the Vanitas incident, and that's what I like about Vanitas Heart. So here is the Gundam Naion's head, and honestly, without the Gundam Legolas design parallels in the way, I can really see that this is a very good looking head and very well sculpted as well, because apart from the nut marks that I didn't really take much care of, unfortunately, I'm gonna do that in a bit, but apart from that, it's a very well sculpted head and very clean too. No missing paint apps whatsoever, as far as I can say. What is it? Feels like VTubing is like Gunpla. VTubing is freedom. Yep, exactly. Not for me, but I do have a Mega Machine Dragon, still a random character, canonic, still even if I keep nerfing her. It's a sort of fanfiction then. If you want to incorporate more demonology bits, having your avatar being able to hold a grimoire, a book, or something would be cool if you want to incorporate more demonology bits, that is. Maybe I'll commission Chikutori to have like a sort of, I don't know, Dante from Warframe kind of vibe for Halloween. Because, Chikutori, are you still here on stream? If you are, do you mind me talking about the behind the scenes things that you shared with me? You've seen the similarities between Naion and the man-made... Yep, I've seen. I've looked at the Gaia Gear Alpha, and it definitely looks similar. There are so many different parallels that I struggle to keep track of them. Like, between the Gundam Naion and a lot of the previous units that we've seen before. So, like I've said, there's the Gundam Legolas, obviously. And then, I remember people saying that it looks like the F-91 because of the Vespers on the back. That is very fair. And of course the Gaia Gear Alpha, you guys have brought up, especially you, Naion. And what else? Crap. There's that aircraft from that shares the same model number, RVR01. I already forgot the name. I constantly watch that bit of the stream back and I don't remember the name. RVR01. Is it from... I don't want to say a bit. Oh yeah, the gauntlets from Thunder Force. But yeah, I definitely see a lot of similarities. Why not the MGX ignition mode? Because it already has all the parts to repair one. Because I want to stick with this scale, and I also have the repair parts from a previous purchase I did with my American friend. So I want to stick with that. And by the way, no, the chest does not have any like molding. If the camera can focus, where is it? The chest is literally just a hollow husk. So yeah, no molding. Very fine. So it's official that MJ has canonically blue hair and blue eyes. Yep, well this MJ anyway, not the one in real life. British, English, and American, yeah, it can be rather different. Early spring for you. In February, yeah. Saturday Armor Core ports are unlikely, the rest of the series are a nightmare, main installments was oh my god. That's gonna be a nightmare. Wish for Mercury was dog water. Say what you want to say, but there are good bits in Wish for Mercury. Expanded, Hyakushiki clones, the after Inquisitors. Dangerous One is up to Hendrik Cromer. Is that some sorts of witchcraft, real witchcraft history that I'm not aware of? Not, yeah, that'll be, yeah, no molding for the shell units. It'll make painting a nightmare. But with the design, can I blame them? Not necessarily. These things are so far recessed. And what else was I talking about? Yeah, this is the thing with ADHD. I constantly forgot what I was talking about if I get distracted. As long as you remove the chat overlay and stuff, I think using stream footage would be fine. Too late now. But I think I can remove it. I don't know how my camera thing is set up, but I'll just use whatever I have at the moment for now. It's not really worth going back now that the stream has begun. Don't want to faff with technical stuff. But so far, so good. The build anyway. I don't know who in their right mind would put on the black ones, to be honest. There must be some weirdo out there who buys 2 of these things just to have the shell units active and inactive. Maybe DMC Dante? DMC? Which series is that? Devil May Cry. Sorry. It may be Devil May Cry. Xenoblade X soundtrack. Yeah. Can't wait for the Permit Score 6 Aerial Rebuild Premium Bandai kit. Eventually. I still don't know why they haven't capped on that, because the Aerial Rebuild has Permit Score 6 and 8 they could have capped on. But God knows, I think they've just turned their attention away from G-Witch. Now that they were focusing on G-Quux, and now they're focusing on Hathaway. Maybe not. I don't know. It just feels weird that we don't already have like a Permit Score 8 high-grade aerial. Especially since there there are 2 versions of the aerial rebuild that are playable in Extreme vs 2 Infinite Boost. So there's the normal aerial rebuild, and then there's the Permit Score 8 piloted by the soul of Eric Samaya. So they directly acknowledge that there are 2 versions of the aerial that they can cap on, and yet they haven't done so in Gunpla. Not unlike, especially when they've already capped on the Caliban having permit score A+ and permit score 5. Very weird. You can never understand how Bandai works. Sometimes they're just not right in the head. The kits are great. I just built a Tech Balang. Wish there was a kit for the Caesarea from Hathaway. Maybe, now that Hathaway is getting all the attention now. And the movie is coming out this week in Japan. And I had an idea because Jury suggested it, that I review something adjacent to Hathaway, like the Cassie and the Penelope. I thought, yeah, sure, that would be a good idea, except for the fact that the kits are bloody expensive. Because if I want to do a re-review, I want to do it from the ground up. So I wanna, so I want to have a fresh copy just to give a fresh perspective. But nah, I dropped the idea eventually just because it would be extremely impractical. Plus, with the stuff that's going on in my life, I don't feel like deadline projects would be a good idea. Especially with work. That's bloody tight. That's very tight. I honestly do worry about this ball joint. Oh, there we go. That's much better. Feel free to. Thank you, Chikitori. In a bit. I'll do it in a bit, though. Xenoblade X Soundtrack was made by Hiroyuki Sawano. Mech designs by Yanase, and the stories was written by the Gundam Age writer. So, is it good? Like, the key thing about me delving into these things is whether or not it's good. I genuinely don't have a good feeling that I'll be able to remove this shell unit. I shall try. Otherwise, I'll have to use blue tack to mask this thing. Hey, call me back in 975. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. But yeah, I really don't have a good feeling about this. The thing I want to check is whether or not these shell units are easy to remove. Yep, there we go. That's easy enough. Because I really want to avoid masking during my touch-up process if I could. So if I can remove these before putting on the top coats, then that'll be best. Restating this because I don't expect you to go back, but it's the gun, them with the bits that go around the sword. You mean for your like original character, original custom build or something? Hey, Halo Surgic, welcome in. Ironically, F91 use Gundam markers I got from Christmas. That's nice. That's nice. Have fun with the F91. The hinges for the Vespers may be a little bit precarious, but otherwise the kit is great. Man, worst case scenario, you can just crop it. Yeah, I can very much just crop it and blur the background. That one fits it far better than before. Oh, okay. So, from the looks of it, we would be cleaning out all the runners from this one, so that's good. That's a good thing. I don't have to deal with any leftovers. And please don't bring up my my TR5 Freru experience, please. And by the way, Chikutori has given me permission to do whatever I want with my character. So, in case you're an artist and you want to like draw like some of my iconic stuff with some iconic moments with my avatar, feel free to. Surprise me on stream if you could. I was playing the first game on Sunday. Actually, Devil May Cry doesn't count in the monologue like I did last week because it's not Gundam. Hopefully you were enjoying the game. Focus on next. High grade Universal Century Double Zeta. I highly doubt it because if they had anything in mind, they would have announced it by now. And since we have the slate for the first half of the year, I don't think they would be doing much in terms of stuff because, like, how many units were in Hathaway that we don't already have a modern high-grade gunpla kit of? Because early next month, we're getting the Gustav Karl, and we already got the Cassie and the Penelope, and we have like a lot of different messers. And I think... No, I was mixing that with narrative, my bad. But I don't think there's anything else from Hathaway they could have made kits of. Not unless they introduced some original like mecha designs for this trilogy. So it depends on what they announce for the third quarter of 2026, because I feel like people are huffing copium when they put out the leaks from Facebook saying that, oh, maybe they will get a real great Barbatos or a real great Gundam X. I genuinely want to withhold my opinion until Bandai announce it themselves. And there's this leak that's been going around in my server that I really want to be true, is that we may be getting a high-grade Gundam Hagenti and high-grade Gundam Zepar. I really want that to be the case, but I am genuinely trying to withhold my expectations for it, because IBO, they're bookending it in February. They're bookending the anniversary in February, so I highly doubt anything else is going to come out of IBO. That is not going to be P Bandai. If they decide to focus on it at all. What the hell is this saying? Okay. So front and back. So the chunky one goes on front. This one goes on the back. I think this is the actual like abdomen area, isn't it? Yeah, it's from RL stuff, since Helbrick Chroma was more evil than the 16th Catholic Church at the time, which is very iconic to be a more powerful Hyakushiki clone than Wish for Mercury. I think they've completely ruined the chances for like a sequel, because they bookended it on a happy ending. But if they do decide to develop further from Vanitas Hearts, then maybe that there's like a storytelling potential that it's kind of ass backwards in terms of development history. Who knows? We need a high-grade Caesarea subflight system from Hathaway. Actually, I'm just gonna copy and look it up. So it's the bed. Okay. It looks actually like the Tikbalang in a way. It looks very much like the Tikbalang. Still no exterior repair 4, Dynamis repair 3 in Extreme Versus or as Gunpla. The exterior repair 4 was featured in Gundam Breaker Mobile, so that kind of squashes it a bit. Another rebuild ultimate move in the game is just getting obliterated, but yeah. No, and Chikitoru, you know the funny thing is, they actually did make a uncannily good 3D model of Eric doing that famous goodbye scene. I find that extremely funny to me. Yeah, this week, Naion. Hathaway is coming out this week. It's coming out on the 30th of January in Japan. I don't know when it will come out in overseas theaters, but we've only caught wind of America having some airtime. Okay, so now it goes in like that. So if you guys are in Japan, definitely catch a viewing of Hathaway Part 2. And pray to God that that isn't a delay. I still want to... I don't know, it feels outdated to do so, but I feel like... I feel like I want to crack some jokes about the original Hathaway being constantly delayed. And oh, we're counting down to another delay at some point. I think that ship has long sailed just because of the circumstances from 2020. Oh yeah, I did watch G-Quux recently and it was okay, but it means we should get to see more. Just wish it didn't introduce another thing Newtypes can apparently do concerning Lala. Yeah, because apparently Lala has the ability to create a multiverse because she's a new type. It's rather ridiculous to me if I'm completely honest, because I doubt that's what Tomino had in mind. Like, new types are just people who has like extra spatial awareness and that sort of stuff. they're not meant to be super like superhuman beings. They're meant to be like the face of the tragedies of war. So to have like to incorporate actual superpowers that break time and space into a new type's feature set, nah mate. Even the Unicorn Gundam needs Banager and Psycho Frame to be able to travel through time and manipulate time at that. Never mind like how like so it just feels like kind of ridiculous to have like, oh, an Alpha Psychomu system, which is like a very early version of like Psychomu systems, and to have Lala herself be able to create a multiverse. Not unless they come around and say that, oh, G-Quarks it's just something that's happening in their head, but I honestly doubt that. I think they really just want you to go mystical, what with the whole Evangelion writing that's going on in there. And especially because the giant white Gundam is apparently a reference to Angel Ray. Oh, I'll save these parts for later. So, yeah, it just feels awkward, to be honest. I mean, the story they wanted to tell, in terms of the overarching plot, they wrapped it up quite fairly in a way. But to put that into like UC canon, even if it's an alt UC, I still feel kind of iffy about it. But let me go ahead. Yeah, Real Grey. No, Real Grey. Hoping for full mechanics aerial rebuild of Calibarn. Hope so. But again, I don't know if they would focus on G-Witch at all. I'm waiting for Kaioken and Super Saiyan versions of Aerial lol. Maybe. I don't know. At the MC Gundam Xio Penelope, if you'd like to borrow them for a review. Is it built or unbuilt? Because I don't know. Because if you don't mind me building them, then sure. Maybe I'll visit you another time and get those built up, touched up, and maybe like lessen your backlog a little bit. I put your videos in the background while at work yesterday. I ended up ordering a set of the Horseman Pale Rider variant. I'm not filling it for now. Oh, come on. But thank you. Don't let your boss catch you watching me, though. But I'm glad I was able to convince you to buy the Horseman. Even though the Code Fairy versions aren't necessarily the best kits out there. I mean, to be honest, I think my favorite version of the high grade, specifically, the high grade Horseman would be the Black Rider. Because the Red Rider has absolutely terrible polycaps. The Pale Rider is the Pale Rider, honestly. The most value you're gonna get out of that is buying the ground type. Because the space type is literally the Gundam Unit 5. And the White Rider, I don't want to mention the White Rider, to be honest. I don't want to even mention it. But honestly, I'm glad. Missing some with the funnel missiles though. Wait, do they have funnel missiles? There's a stream on the second, I think. Fitting for now. You mean from IBO or from Gundam? We could bring the Jester into the second Hathaway movie. Oh yes, like how they brought the Jagans into F91. There's a new novel accurate Messer presence in the trailer. There's another Messer. Obviously, that's probably gonna be P Bandai because the Messer F02 and the the Mine Layer are all P Bandai. And apparently people are speculating that the Xi Gundam is gonna get the version Kotoki face, because in one of the shots from either leaked footage or the trailers themselves, the Xi Gundam has a damaged face. Maybe we'd get a new face and a new color scheme to call back to the Kotoki design, and maybe have that released as a P Bandai kit. Who knows? I genuinely don't know. But if Bandai and the writing team managed to pull out some original designs that don't break the canon, I'd be fairly impressed. Mostly because this is meant to be an adaptation of the original Hathaway's Flash mangas. I don't know if Tomino has any supervision over this though. Master with a head cockpit? Yeah. Don't know about that. I'll have to see the movie. I really need to continue to add more members to my Londo Bell crew, but the one I'm working on right now is for one of the major OP factions. Luckily enough, the main force is not near where my boys are. Nice. Nice. All I can say is about fanfiction is nice. But you guys have the creativity to go and create those fanfics. I mean, the creativity and the persistence. Because I tried to create my own fanfic like years and years ago to go with my custom build project. I gave up on that a long time ago just because it just doesn't feel like a worthy like investment. Plus I had like uni going on as well, and I wanted to focus more on reviews instead, so I just kind of gave up on that project. And I don't know, they pulled this out in the second movie, but they could probably milk the High Greek Sea when its ass missile pop thingy plus the High Greek Penelope manual mentioned a movie exclusive unit called the Argos unit. Maybe they'll develop on that, to be fair. Maybe they'll develop on that. And to be honest, I don't think it's that hard to implement new mechanical designs without breaking canon, just because all they need to do is to keep the story beats intact and just introduce new battle scenes. Because what's most important in a story is the dialogue. Wait, did that fall into my sleeve? Wait a minute, wait. Yep, that did fall into my sleeve, and now it's fallen out and I don't know where it went. Alright, it's on the back of my chair, thank God. I mean, I don't have any nooks and crannies I need to turn the room upside down for to search for these things, but I would prefer not to lose them on stream. Although, I think they'll save that for the third movie. Ah. Welcome, WrathFireX. Happy to catch the stream 6 AM here. Aww. I'm glad you're that devoted, but I would say prioritize sleep for the meantime. Still want to see Unicorn 172. They did implement green divers into I think UC Engage, so maybe at some points they'll put in the rest of the stuff there. And I want to see Hathaway in cinema in London. I saw G-Quox in London, so maybe it's not that far-fetched of an idea. I don't know how long is between JP and Western releases for Part 1. Hadness, I think the circumstances were too exceptional back then, because the pandemic began back then, and they've also announced like I don't remember like the specific sequences, but they've released the movie and then they put it on Netflix as well. I really love this. Like, look at this. Usually clavicle missile launcher, not missile launchers, usually clavicle beam saber storage doesn't work on high grade, and yet look at this. A simple, effective mechanism, and how easy is it to pluck the sabers out? Okay, not that easy apparently, so tools it is. At least it's held in well, that's what I'm gonna say. So I will assume that the sabers will slide out in canon before the Naion grabs onto them, but here they are. Tiny saber handles, but at least this gimmick is functional. And honestly, I was very surprised when I saw Readerpa's review of the Naion to see that this feature is actually functional. I never expected them to be, but hey, we get what we can get. And I assume it isn't in there properly enough. So yeah, there we go. That's the Naion's chest done. Well, it could be like in her brain before dying. Okay. Unicorn advice with pocket psychopath. Also, yeah, my unicorn owns an apartment, he gets annoyed. So, wait, so you're using mecha as the actual characters. MJ, which one of your expanded lore they will have someone like an AU clone for Earth with some elements of the RLF. Oh, from Ace Armor Core 6 and the mecha designs from third-party Chic mainland kits. I'm trying to remember who the RLF is. Because they're the planetary police. No, okay, the Rubicon Liberation Front. I see. I never saw that acronym before, so that's why I got confused. Pale Rider High Grade. The only one they haven't done, the only ones they haven't done are the Dullahan and the VG. But I genuinely don't know, because they haven't been focusing. They've been focusing very heavily on Battlefield Record 0081 recently, and I think they just chucked the Pale Riders to the side because of it. Oh, that's number 6. Okay, that is number 6. Maybe just for the missile effects, because the Xi and Penelope don't have funnels. Well, they have funnel missiles, so that's something. It's basically just kamikaze funnels. Nah, who cares about that would spit out more grams in Strike Freedom kits? I wouldn't doubt that, to be honest. And thinking about it, I might just get the Strike Freedom Type 2. Maybe for my own enjoyment, maybe I'll make a short out of it, who knows, but I am seriously tempted to just get it to understand like the differences. Because from the looks of things, they look like they've reused the original Strike Freedom's backpack for it. Which, I mean, if that's the case, I can very easily just make my own. But if that is indeed not the case, then, well, we may have some interesting things to talk about. Oh, by the way, the Kentucky version is like a remastered version of the novel design. Yeah, I understood that, Yovi. I actually kind of clocked that when I originally reviewed the kits, because I think the body itself is one-to-one the Kotoki version, but then the head is kind of like inspired by the original design. Meanwhile, the Penelope is just full Kotoki. The lineage goes novel design, SDG generation, Kotoki movie. Ah, I see. The Naion looks amazing. Yo, I love the saber storage as well. Careful on the binders, snapped one of mine yesterday with a sliding gimmick. I shall. From the looks of it, from the looks of the Naion design, honestly, I get F91 flashbacks. So I would be very, very careful with the rear rifles when I actually get to building them. And I also I don't know why, but I also get sort of G Self Perfect Pack vibes from the mechanisms. Although I assume, because I haven't really looked into it, I assume the mechanisms are going to be much tougher than the G Self Perfect Pack. But I shall be careful nonetheless, because those types of arm mechanisms really just raise my alarm bells. I plan to get the high grade crossbone. Go ahead. I mean, the full. Which version are you getting? Because the base crossbone, they aren't too bad, except for if you get the P Bandai stock variants, which has that god awful cloak. But the rest of it is fine. And if you can deal with stickers, then you can go with the full cloth as well. It reminds me of God Gundam Vulcan clavicles. Yeah, the real grade. All my characters are canonically miniaturized versions of the mobile suits. Ah, I see. So kind of like how I picture these mobile suits while I was little. because I don't remember whether I treated them as like armor suits or just their own actual characters, but that's kind of like the way I went when I was playing with these things. Like, yeah, I was that much of a child when I was playing with my model kits back in the day, which isn't a good thing to do, by the way. So don't take what small MJ did as anecdotal advice. It really isn't. Okay, so again, with the shoulders, there should be shell units here if the camera can focus. Come on. Actually, let me just do this. There you go. There's just a hole here for the clear piece, but no molding detail. I don't think Naion is related to the Lefriths. We shall see, actually. Because a dead giveaway with the kits is how the shoulder joints are designed. But since this kit is designed, not this kit, but this unit is designed by Wataru Inata, it may be an early precursor of the Pale faction? So Pale Technologies? Maybe? 15 or 13, so I'm going 15, yeah. I'm just merely guessing here because, as far as I've read, the Naion hasn't even appeared in action. There's so much I want to talk about, but I don't really know how to segue into it. But thank you chat, you guys in chat, for keeping the conversation going. And I don't know if you guys replied to me, but are you guys at all interested in hearing me talk about work? Because working in a warehouse, it definitely isn't the most exhilarating job ever. Okay, still my headcanon fan for just Gundam Witches versus Yakushiki clones, Inquisitors. Yeah. Hey Jaffa, welcome in. Does the Naion look like it shares the same sort of frame? No. The Naion uses all new parts. So, I don't know how the compatibility is going to be affected, but as far as I can tell, the Naion uses all new runners. So what were you gonna do with it again? Working on a custom Lefrith, was curious if any components from the new kit can be used without any editing parts. I mean, compatibility may still be retained, but it's hard to say about G-Wish anyway. Went to the Gundam base in Chicago and got the Draken E. Nice! Nice! I hope you enjoyed your trip there, Bob. Not sure, believe it's far out towards 100 adjacent development project. But then again, they were researching the gun format way before they developed the FAR Act. Especially with Bermilia Winston. Have you shown anything other than Gundam? Yes, I have. Actually, if you check my community page, you'll see some other like non-Gundam kits that I've put up for a poll. So I did have, I still have them, but I have the DX scale Ikaruga from Knights of Magic. I have a China Pla kit, which is probably a big no-no to Bandai, and I have the Open Faith, 30-minute missions Open Faith. And I don't know if I want to expand out to the other mecha genre, like other corners of the mecha genre without like just going in with just going into it, just because I feel more affinity to things I naturally am drawn to compared to just stuff that I just get forced into. So I don't know, maybe someday I'll play Super Robot Wars Y, and then I'll be interested in some other mecha stuff, because I've watched Jury's streams regarding Super Robot Wars Y, and honestly, stuff like the Getzer and the Dyna Xenon, they really interest me. Like in terms of their designs anyway. Their designs, their capabilities, that sort of stuff. So it's not off the table, it's just that I prefer to like let myself be naturally drawn to things instead of just going into it off a cuff. But speaking of which, it's not impossible, because when I was with my friends, when I went to visit my friends like last week, they've put on the Amazing Digital Circus for me to watch, which is one of the things I want to very much talk about. And oh my god, with what episodes we have so far, it's absolutely great. Like, I would highly recommend you guys check out the Amazing Digital Circus if you guys could. Just because the storytelling, like, it's especially impressive because it's from an indie animator, like animation studio or something. So it's not tied to like the mainstream media or like any big companies or whatever. Yeah, like sure, Glitch Productions published the thing, but it ultimately is still an indie project. And honestly, from the voice acting to the animation to the storytelling, oh my god, I loved it. And ever since that, I was so obsessed with it that sometimes I just scroll through not necessarily theories, but more stuff the voice actors done. Well, the more stuff the voice actors have done, and now my entire feed is just the Amazing Digital Circus. And honestly, the music that they've done, fantastic. They're stuck in my head. And yeah, honestly, and I especially like Gangle from the Amazing Digital Circus. Not only just because she's a weeb, but I don't know why I feel like a special affinity towards masks, like the comedy and tragedy masks, especially. That may just be why I like SCP 035 that much. Who knows? But honestly, if you guys have the free time, check out the Amazing Digital Circus. I'm not well, I'm just saying this as a viewer, so I'm not paid to be I'm not paid to promote that shit, but go ahead, check it out. And there's 2 more episodes that are yet to come. I think both of them are coming out this year, I would assume, because episode 8 is coming out in March. And speaking of stuff that is coming out in March, I also am looking forward to Daredevil. Like, granted, Daredevil Born Again Season 1 isn't exactly the best, but it's like the best superhero adjacent thing that I've seen in a while. Especially with the decline of Marvel's quality since Endgame. So, because they have the original Punisher writers back on... Oh god, I don't want to lose that. Because they have the original Punisher writers from the good old Netflix days write Daredevil Born Again Season 2, I am genuinely intrigued as to what they will bring to the table. They just dropped the trailer today, and it's coming out late March, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing that as well. Because as like dodgy as Season 1 was, what the Punisher writers did to salvage what they could was great. I hate the Wish for Mercury ending, man. It's just Yuri slop. Yeah, so do I actually. Macross kits are pretty expensive. I have high interest in the Stromvogel units. I have no idea what that is, but maybe I should watch Macross. Suleta Miorine shippers are gonna be mad. I don't care. I highly recommend SRWY someday, Chikutori. Let me actually catch up on chat before I go off yapping again. Waiter, more higher RBO kits. Love your review on the Saga and Crab Roadie. Oh, thank you, Shiro. Thank you. Weirdest thing you've seen in the warehouse? An icicle. Like, granted, it's quite normal for icicles to form in a freezer warehouse. But the thing that really winds me up is that the people from the company do jack doodly to rectify the situation, because I haven't seen them often, but if I had a quarter for every icicle that I've seen throughout my 6-7 months of working there, I would have 2 quarters. It's nice to have, but it's still quite a big shame that it happened twice, just because we have those gigantic storage racks that span like about 4 stories tall, and the first one I saw was a massive spectacle. Even the company couldn't deny the need to remove it. And they have pallets blocking off the area of effect, but I just saw that massive icicle stemming from the roof and sticking onto whatever is loaded onto the top 2 levels, and that's incredibly dangerous. Thankfully, they got rid of it like within like 2 weeks, which is quite quick if I'm honest, for companies, just because they're extremely stingy about how they spend their money. Like, oh, it's a waste of money, it's a waste of time, manpower, whatever. So usually like menial stuff like that they will never take care of until it's absolutely necessary. Thankfully, the first one I saw was very much necessary. But you know, the thing is, like during like both blockages, I'm not just saying the first one, during both blockages, because our warehouse is like a one-way system, so you zigzag through the different aisles to pick crap up. But whenever an aisle is blocked just because there's an icicle in the way, just out of safety, I had to reverse back out, and because the aisles are only like just wide enough for 2 pallets to be stacked there, we have to be extremely careful of somebody coming up from behind while we're trying to reverse back. And that's especially because if we have our pallets stacked up high, we would not be able to easily see who the hell is coming out from behind. So that's far less of a hazard than an icicle killing someone, but hey, it's still a hazard nonetheless. But thankfully they got rid of the first one quite quickly. But then, not long after, a second one formed right at the end of the warehouse, and they had to block those aisles off as well. And funny thing is, they took more than 2 weeks to get it dealt with, just because it isn't impeding on it isn't impeding on, wait, oh, that's the wrong end. Just because it wasn't impeding on replans and having like a considerable risk for any workers there, so they just left it there. Companies being stingy about their expenditures is we're no stranger to it, but come on, like a workplace hazard like that, you best get it cleared up, because not only do we have like a blocked off path and we had to reverse out, there's also like the bays in the affected area cannot be used, so we cannot stock in anywhere near as much stuff as we could if the warehouse is actually being used at full capacity, which it isn't still. So it's just ridiculous to me. The weirdest thing, yeah, that's one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my warehouse. But that's a bit of a rant, wasn't it? I don't mind, MJ. Speaking of which, how was yesterday's shifts? The shifts was alright. I was put on something called break pack, which is essentially a position in the warehouse where you break down boxes for an online supermarket. Not gonna name drop them here, but it was fine. Like I was in the warehouse picking for about 2 hours. And then, because there was early finishes yesterday, due to the extremely low number of orders, I basically finished the shift off 2 hours early and just had break pack all day, which was fun. And I was put with a new starter in the position, because you had to pass your work probation in order to be even put on break pack. So I was put with a new starter, and we took turns of scanning and disassembling the boxes, loading the products into like what we call totes. Not tote bags, by the way. It's just those baskets that you may see in supermarkets. So we load our stuff into that, but we took turns on doing scanning and what we call D-trash, and it was quite fun actually. We managed to get about 80-90% of efficiency from that, which is fairly good as well. And I really want to be careful not to impede, encroach on anything that needs to remain confidential. But it was quite a fun time. And by the way, even though I was picking for 2 hours, those 2 hours were like the best 2 hours of picking in my life. Just because we were so low on local orders, we had to tackle international ones. And so, because they're international orders, they often consist of dozens of the same item. And honestly, just mostly fries and whatnot, usually. But I did get some stuff like ice creams and that type of stuff. But because there's dozens and dozens of every item, it's very easy to stack. It's extremely easy to stack actually, because you can just copy the formations and make sure that the surface stays flat. But yes, yesterday's shift was extremely fine. What's your favorite Gundam design? Barbatos Lupus. If not the Extreme Gundam variants. I think the Extreme Gundam... What is it? The Extreme Gundam Type Leos 2 Versus is among my favorites. But the Barbatos Lupus is just cool. Is Open Faith not a mistranslation? I thought the Japanese name was Open Face. It's Open Faith. It's not... I don't know the intention. Especially... They may actually mean Open Face. But... The box says Open Faith, the game says Open Faith, so that's what I'm sticking with. I'm only... Just don't shoot the messenger, Banshee. Will we ever get Vanitas Heart in anime or movie? Hey, considering that a lot of the manga projects, even from Prime UC, don't get animated versions, I doubt we'd get Vanitas Heart in anime form. And honestly, even if they do cast like people to voice manga characters like they did for SDG generations, especially Cross-Race, starting Cross-Race, because they did a lot of 00 manga, they did Gecko. Even though they cast people for those roles, nothing is ever going to come out of it because animation takes far too long. What am I looking at again? What? Oh my god. So, these are the hand covers. These lanky looking things. That's such a weird design for a hand cover because I'm used to them being like squares and whatnot. Good to know. Saves me from getting 2 copies then. What did I answer, Jaffa? Clone cat. Oh, clone on cat. Clone on a cat. I saw a bundle deal for Hydra Caliban and FR Stiletta for... What is NYR? I gotta be careful because the studio thing is in the way. NYR. Okay. Wait a minute. Oh, please clarify what NYR is, because it's showing 2 different currencies on Google. Is Kodobuki Armor Matsukaze kit something for you? What do you mean? Because if it's the scale that they're making the steel haze of, then maybe not. Because I want to steer clear from large kits. And that's kind of like one of the reasons why I don't want to review the Perfect Grade Unleashed new Gundam. Well, especially because it's expensive, but I don't want to build like stuff that is just massive if it's not for someone else. So if any stores out there would like me to build like a massive kit for them, then sure, go ahead. But nah. Wish you reviewed more Armored Core 6 30-minute missions kits. I will be, Yovi. I will be. Trust me. I'm just focusing on stuff that is of higher priority to me at the moment. Wait, am I doing something wrong? Oh, I'm building them backwards. I'm so used to the hand cover details being at the... There we go. I'm so used to the hand cover details being at the bottom of the hand instead of the top. But apparently that's the way it goes. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, oh yeah, Yovi. I do like I said, I have Open Faith. I have the standard Melander. I have that Arquebus Advanced Development Division tank that's still with HLJ because I wanna wait until the Legend Gundam comes and then I ship everything all in one go. And I have Milktooth, and I also have the weapon sets. So there will be more Armored Core stuff coming on the channel. I just want to get through my gunpla catalog from 2025 before I do anything else. Hey Jury, hello, ni hao. Doing classwork right now, but I'll be lurking. Nice to have you in here, Jury. Thank you. MJ, hey Dakkat, how goes the Naion? It's great actually. Great. Very simple. Like record time. Like it builds the upper body in an hour. On stream. Well, I could easily achieve that off stream, but hey, I'm doing this on stream and just yapping about random stuff with you guys does take some time, but it's a very good build if I'm honest. Like I'm gonna make sure that the shoulder shell units are still intact, but hey, it's still a very good build. The color scheme taken from Gaia Gear Alpha. The design so far is still very Legolas for me. But this, I really wouldn't be able to tell you that this is designed by Wataru Inata. Honestly, I love it so far. I don't want to get carried away though, because first impressions can be deceiving. Like when I did the LO booster, I initially loved it, and from what I saw from the Bernapius before I got the kits, I loved that as well. And then they turned out to be quite mediocre kits. Granted, I know I should put some more trust into G-Wish, knowing that their kits are consistently good, except for their color accuracy. But I'm gonna stay neutral so that I don't get biased once I do start writing my my review for it. Yeah, Hatena, that's Legolas, yeah. Buying PGU new Gundam? Not me. Neon, is that a reference? Break the icicle to acquire a hidden weapon. Not me. The back problem going to be a pain, like 400 grams each. 400 grams equal to Master Grade Virtue plus the new is like 1 kilogram. So yeah, there's going to be many weight issues. Torn, I have fully expected the new to have weight issues. Like, I don't want to sound pretentious here, but being like such a one-sided design is why they don't translate the new Gundam 1-to-1 from when they were making the statue. They made a new long-range fin funnel for it, just to act as a stand. And you know that like having something towards one side is like physically impractical under gravity. So for Bandai to implement like what is it, 70 parts in each funnel or something like that, something ridiculous like that, there is no way that the structure would not suffer. Like you need to have like a bloody metal frame in order to be able to support that without the back support. So I don't know whether or not it's like worth crying over spoiled milk just because of it, but then again, to have like such an expensive kit suffer from like such an issues just because they want to be very pretentious about how they engineer the PGU new Gundam's fin funnels, I don't know which camp I sit in, actually. I really don't know. Why get the PGU new when you can get the why get the PGU new when you can get the Steel Haze? Well, my question is, why get the PGU new when I can just trade that in for 4 tanks of petrol? Does your job offer life insurance? I'm actually not sure, but I've been put on the there is like an insurance charge for... Actually, I don't know how it works because like works differently, because now over here we have something called national insurance, and you get a number for yourself, and that's what you use to apply for like different jobs especially. So I think, and then there's an insurance charge on my pay slips, or what as you guys call it in America, paychecks. There's a national insurance charge on my pay slips. So that's probably covered with national insurance. But I have been put on their pension program, and that is basically like about 86 quid a month. So that's a chunk of change that's taken out of my paycheck as well. Unfortunately so. But hey, there is some sort of insurance. Especially now that I'm in this job. Okay. Koto Bukia Armored Core Verdict Day RIP. Oh, that's not rest in peace. RIP 2/D kits would be a dream. Yeah, that would be. But I don't know much about the other armored cores. I would probably need to get a PS system to be able to experience those. I'm not getting the PGU new because I'm poor and a new Gundam purist, and I'd rather have the high-grade Universal Century Massacre from the 2000s. Fair enough. That's fair enough. And I think the Perfect Grade Unleashed new is based on the Katoki design, I think. I'm not entirely sure, actually. I genuinely am not entirely sure. Banshees, Snails, Armored Cores. Oh, okay, yeah. Naion Open Faith in the Wiki. Do you guys think the Naion's cannons are stronger than the F-91 Vespers? I honestly don't know what makes the Vespers strong. Like, I've been putting off reading about them for quite a while. Especially since I have the M91 to review someday. So I want to do some research on how, like, what makes the Vespers the Vespers. They're called variable speed beam rifles, but I don't know how that, like, impacts it. Because it feels like the Vespers are supposed to be the F-91's strongest weapons, and I don't know a damn thing about them. I've only seen, like, F-91, like, once, and except for the F-91 in Rafflesia, nothing stuck. I don't know if it's a me problem or something, but nothing that I saw in F-91 just stuck in my mind. And speaking of anime, I've also started watching Spy Family Season 3. And granted, the first few, like, the first 2/3 of the series were great. Like, it does get kind of episodic in a way, just because they've gone over the basic setups. But it was fine. And especially when they got to the bus jacking arc. That was great, honestly. Although kids be kids and I couldn't stand kids, but the storytelling was great. But then after that, it's just gone to, like, a point where it's just absolutely unwatchable, just because, like, I don't know if it's just a me problem or something, but I really don't like the fact that Yor and Lloyd is that oblivious towards each other. And especially with Yor trying so bloody hard to, like, be a normal wife, and that caused her to act absolutely ridiculous. And it's just like, come on, mate. Like, you cannot be that oblivious to stuff. And it's been repeatedly mentioned in the series that Lloyd prefers Yor the way she is. So why was she still? Well, obviously she's trying to not get reported to the secret police, but still, just be yourself, mate. Come on. Like, I think it's genuinely a me problem, just because I couldn't, like, stand, like, such obvious stupidity like that. But I don't know. I think I might be talking down on it for no reason. I might just go through the series while I still have the time. The whole point of Gundam mangas is that they're not anime. They have more freedom but less kids. Fair enough. I still haven't read Wellworth though. No reference, just a video game style secret. Ah, I see. Can't wait to get paid. Neither can I, actually. Neither can I. I'm getting paid next week, actually, so that's fun. Okay. Also, MG, do you like the happy ending for Wish of Mercury? No, I don't. I genuinely don't. Seriously, G-Wish just, like I said, G-Wish has its good points. I like Elon. I like, well, both versions of Elon, actually. And I like Choo-Choo. And I especially like Gwell. and I like where they've ended up. But the story is built on so much contrivance that I just struggle to like it as a whole, like in general. And that's honestly, I think, like the fairest take I can have, because you don't necessarily have to like everything about a series to say that you like it or hate it. You can like something about the things you hate, and you can hate something about the things you like. But to me, I think G-Witch is just built on so much contrivance that I really just don't want to give a damn about it. And especially when it came out, I had so many arguments with the fan base. It's just that... Oh, great. Ah, it's on my thigh. Okay. It's just that I've had so many arguments with the fan base, and those people being blockheaded as they are just turned me off from caring about the series at all. I'm just gonna stick to myself, respect what I like, respect other people's opinions, and just move on. Because an anime series is genuinely not worth arguing over. But to be honest, I don't like the ending. It's just an ass pull that feels like a copy of Unicorn, because they had to jam in as many Gundam references as they could. And it's just, nah. No. Also, did you see MG? No, I didn't. I don't care. I'm gonna have the same talking points over and over, so if I am gonna be like ranting about if I'm gonna be ranting about a certain creator just because they make the same mistakes over and over again, I'd rather not. I'd rather not ruin my mental health getting angry over something that I don't want to even watch. Despite my issues with the show, there's one aspect about which was mobile. Ah, yeah, the designs. Yeah. Honestly, the mobile suit designs and the concept of the mobile suit designs were great. Like having a certain designer be devoted to like a company or two, so they drastically have different languages, like different design languages, as it would be in an arms race. Well, a sci-fi arms race at least. Do you know that the Lego minifig perfectly fits in the high-grade Torohachi? Yes, I do. I've actually seen photos of it, and it's actually quite uncanny. So you can have something that is not Lego fit perfectly well in the Lego set. In terms of scale, anyway. Okay. 50 parts. Okay, 50 parts from each fin funnel. So what is it? 5 times 6 is 30. So 300 parts just for the fin funnels. And no wonder it has such weight issues. Not only just because it's such a physically unbalanced design, so gravity will take over. They have 50 parts each, so 300 parts mounted onto one side of the backpack. And you guys are surprised that it has weight issues. I'm not particularly targeting you guys, don't worry. I'm just taking a piss. Muskai Defender Mutabanu. Oh, okay, I see. Was able to just pop in. Hey, Ultra Short Pulse. Did you get the music from that one Japanese channel or that? No, I didn't get it from him because like it's not uncommon what is it? It's not uncommon to hear the same track across different YouTube channels, just because the easiest way to find music for YouTube videos or just YouTube content in general is to go through the YouTube Studio music library, just because they're like the most readily available source of copyright-free music. And I don't know where Jiri gets her music, but I know that Zethathonics, while he still does reviews, he got like a custom track from a custom composer. So that will require commissioning, that will require time, and granted, the results can come out great, but sometimes it just isn't really worth the faff. So I just yeah, so the inspiration is indeed from that one Japanese YouTube channel, but it's not uncommon to hear the same tracks across different YouTube channels just because we all got it from the same source. And honestly, I feel some sort of affinity with the music that I use, that whenever I hear it on another, like... how does this go? Whenever I hear the music that I used on another YouTube, like, played on another YouTube channel, it's just like, I used this before. And it's genuinely not surprising. This goes like that. This goes okay. Yeah. Okay. I was reading the instructions wrong. My bad. To be honest, Bandai should use less small parts and more big pieces for the PGU New Gundam. That would probably lessen the weight issue on the back itself. Frankly, with the PG New at that price, that could literally be perfect and people would still complain. Fair enough. And honestly, it depends on whether or not the complaints are founded or not. I would segue back into work, but I'll catch up with chat for a little bit. National insurance goes towards NHS and retirement services. I see. I still get an insurance charge on my payslip, so there is something. It's not the Verkai, it has the original face for one. So maybe it would be a mix of the two. I haven't looked into detail as to as to what the New Gundam draws it, like the Perfect Grade Unleashed the New Gundam draws its inspiration from. So I'll check in a bit after stream. But I am indeed interested in what people will have to say for it, and I am waiting in anticipation for the first English-speaking review to come out of the PGU New. Just so, because Japanese YouTubers they never really express their own opinions for a kit, but for us over in the English-speaking space, we're like more free to express it. I don't know if it's because of if it's because they're sponsored by Bandai, or it's because, well, Japanese being Japanese, being very respectful, even though some things may not be to their expectations. But I feel like I can be completely unfiltered so long as I don't offend anybody over here. So I am waiting very much in anticipation for what people will have to inevitably say about the PGU New Gundam. Okay, so E. Put out the Markiplier meme. E. My insurance is like $60 a week with assistance from work. Also, to add to the PGU New Gundam discussion, I think that the weight of the funnels bending the kit to the side is an inherent flaw in the... Yep, that's what I was saying. It's an inherently, flawed design under gravity. So like I said, they designed a new funnel for the life-size statue just so that it acts like a support. And because they know inherently that it's gonna suffer if they went with the proper fin funnels. It's kind of like what Mikazuki said in in SD Gundam Battle Alliance. Because the first thing he said to Amuro when he saw the fin funnels is like, "Did you ever consider wind?" So it's like, and Amuro is like, these are fin funnels. For wind, I've never considered it. So it just feels like a funny parallel to me, to be honest. It feels very funny. The M91 is awesome. It's like a bootleg of FSS Siren series. Yeah, the M91 is indeed a decent kit if it didn't have so many color correcting stickers. I thought it was gonna bend either way, but it make them really good. I see. One fin funnel is one high grade. Oh god, George. Oh god. Also, welcome in. Good morning from Thailand. Welcome in. Don't forget beloved Sophie. I don't really feel much affinity for Sophie, but for Noria, maybe. I never really felt I never really felt much affinity for Sophie. Okay. Vesper's powers have penetration, so they can punch through beam shields. A shame they're not animated differently to depict that, but it sounds kind of like the dart rifles from Gundam Age then. Because the concept of the dart rifle is that they fire a drilling beam, so a beam that is spun inside the barrel and fired out so that they can penetrate armor. Sounds like the concept is quite similar, to be honest. But even with that in mind, I don't think have we ever had beam shields in G-Witch? Because I don't remember us having any at all. So it's hard to say. It's good, but my god, the PGU bootlegs waste like holy. Yeah, PGU news is actually impressive. It leans when the funnels are on without the stand. Yeah, but the lower body doesn't move an inch. It's literally just the torso articulation that collapses. Yeah, but like well, people will complain about it. Complainers gonna complain. Even if like people do like a perfect job, especially in my job. Like I'm gonna go on a rant about this, but because like Master Ninja said, I gotta rant about it before it gets to me. So I got a complaint. I got not necessarily a complaint, but I got someone telling me the other day that the bastards on night shift complain about my rapping. So it's like, what? I mean I'm not like, oh my god, wait a minute. I'm doing this wrong, aren't I? Yep, I definitely am doing this wrong. Put this on the wrong spot. That's why it isn't flush, for God's sake. I'm gonna correct that on this piece before I can move on. I'm such an idiot. Such a stupid fox. But I really want an angry emote to go with this, but I haven't commissioned Chikutori about it. But yeah, the guys on night shift, we are like all of us on night shift are very accustomed to the fact that they complain about every single little thing. But one of my new colleagues told me that there's one guy from night shift who has a bone to pick with my rapping, and especially with like a couple 100 kilograms worth of product, you have to wrap the pallets tight in order to prevent them from falling. So I did that. I did exactly that, and yet they still have a problem with it for some odd reason that I cannot even fathom. So it's like, what? Why do you have a problem with it? Like, and then I was talking about that with one of my colleagues when we were put on break pack together, and they also have a bone to pick with that attitude, just because they signed up, like whoever complained about me signed up to be put on loading, and on loading you'll have to deal with other people's stacking and wrapping. All you need to do is to put the details down and load it onto the truck. So long as it doesn't fall over, then all is well and good, no matter how poorly it is stacked. So it's like, well, yeah, all is well and good if you can load it onto the truck, so why the hell are you complaining? It's not an excuse to do a bad job at stacking and wrapping, but still, if it's done perfectly fine, why would you have to complain about it? And I've got like some night shift people, when I first started, complaining about my stacking. Like, mate, I'm a newbie. I was a newbie back then. And not if you cannot do a better job than I can, then shut up. I also had like a colleague that was that did the exact same thing to me, like recently. Especially when the assignments were completely unreasonable, then that I had to stack my assignments outrageously high. just because they put on like a crap ton of stuff that is taller than my entire person, and then continued going until the end where I had to put on massive boxes that ultimately resulted in my pics being taller than a door. So in the end, I was frustrated with the assignment, and to be honest, whoever, like the people I ran into, not necessarily crashing into, but the people I ran into in the workplace to talk about this, to talk about my god-awful assignment, they agreed that whoever did that, what the hell, oh, double jointed, okay, so whoever put that assignment together was being extremely unreasonable. All is well and good, we all agreed on one thing, so what's the problem? That one guy blamed my stacking Wait, what? Did they skip? Oh, I skipped a step. Okay, fair enough. That guy had the gall to say that my stacking was the problem. And it, in my mind is, I'm just like, I want to see you stack any better than that. I want to see you stack like 121 items, all of which, well, none of which are like tiny items, and not result in the assignments being taller than a door. Like, honestly, night shift. I don't know if it's the nature of shift work or anything, but we always have something to complain about the other shifts, and especially night shift. When even the managers from night shift had a bone to pick with me about the way I walk, just because I don't want my just because it sounded like I was dragging my feet on the floor. So, is it any of your business? The only way that my dragging, like the way I walk, would affect you is how quickly I go through boots, and I haven't even changed my boots ever since I started. So, how I walk is none of your bloody business. So just keep your nose out of it. But yeah, people are gonna complain no matter how perfectly you do a job. No matter if it's in your actual job or about how bad I like engineers gunpla, there's always something that people will pick out and complain about. So the perfect grade unleashed new Gundam having a solid lower body and just having an impractical design, people will complain about it no matter how you justify it. Like, I personally figured the flaw is justifiable just because it's literally an impractical design under gravity. So if I pick up the new Gundam, even without knowing that the funnels are like 300 pieces total, I know I signed up for it. So yeah, that's the moral of the story. Be careful of the Varios C-clips holder in the mechanism that holds its beam opening. Both are prone to breaking. I shall be careful. Do not go more from Thailand. So the current models have finished least possible amounts of armor added. Do you think I should try starting to put paint on half of it? Are you planning to do hand painting or are you planning to spray paint? Hey, who donated? The Burnt Out Fool. Thank you for donating $20. Thanks for the super chat. Tuned in. My dumbass thought you were talking about rapping. Also, your job sounds awful. Hope everything is going well for you. My job isn't necessarily awful. It's just the people in the other shifts that are awful. Because my shift has the chillest managers that you can ever find. Like, we can essentially joke around with them, and they will laugh with us, not at us. And we can talk shit about them, and they will not complain. Like I said, like I mentioned in Jury's stream, like they being authentic, swearing and all. And essentially, if there's nothing like that requires managerial attention, they will essentially just jump in and have fun talking crap with us, which is honestly great. And that goes for most of my shift as well. So yeah, I honestly could not have asked for a better place to start being an employee. So granted, if this thing takes off, like my channel and my channel, or if I can bide my time enough to get my probably driving instructor training done, then maybe I will leave that job. But for now, I'm happy with where I am, and because the annoying people are from the other shifts, after a rant, I don't give a damn. They can stay in their other shifts, they can complain all they want, but so long as I'm doing a good job, they can piss off. But yeah, going back to the painting. Yeah, so if you're doing hand painting, then I would say put the entire kit together before you start hand painting. But if you do spray painting, I would honestly just recommend that you don't put the kit together at all. So just cut out the pieces, sort them by color, and then after spray painting it, put the kit together, and you'll have your result. There's no point in unless you want to put the kit together just to get an idea of how it looks and then take it apart afterwards. But otherwise, if you already have an idea in your mind, there's no real point in putting the kit together, disassembling it, and then going back and putting it back together. It's just a waste of time and effort. But that only applies if you already have an idea. If you don't, feel free to put it together. But one thing I would recommend, if you want to put a kit together before painting, is to either, where is a good peg? A good peg right here. You either, let the camera focus please. So you either cut the peg like in a slanted way. I'm not going to do it to the Naion, but you cut a slant onto the peg, or you open the hole up. So focus, there we go. So open the hole up with a little bit. That way it'll be easier to take the kit apart. I did only say easier, not easy. So no guarantees on that, but do some slight modifications to the connections, then you'll be grand. I don't have to be mad, I just have to be glad. It's just Marita backstory again, and that point is just edge bait. It doesn't have the Angelo's annoying prick. Yeah, definitely from Unicorn, right? Union flag and Tieran are the best contrast designs. I will agree. The Union flag looks so futuristic and skinny. Meanwhile, the Tierans are like heavy-duty ground types. Until the space type, of course. I guess that makes it lore accurate because the new can't operate under the atmosphere with the fin funnels anyway, lol. Yep, yeah, Chikitori, yep. People anger the band that release 1 or 2 Massacre nowadays and will trash talk everything that band releases. I mean, Mecha Gaikosu trash talk the D Gundam first for having having stickers for eyes. So complainers are gonna complain. PG News Something for C will sell like hotcakes. Yep, definitely. If they remake the Strike Freedom in Perfect Rain Unleashed, then that's definitely gonna go. They forgot that 6-7 releases per era, more like 50% releases are remolds. Yeah. And 90% of new molds are P-Bandai. Which the High New had G3 coloration. Something you can achieve yourself. Very easily. Actually, the reason I get like Gundam Breaker is for using to plan custom builds. So if you have an idea, go into Gundam Breaker, see if it works, and then execute it yourself in real life. Japanese are very conservative and they are strict, it sucks. Yeah. So that's why I'm like waiting in anticipation for an English-speaking reviewer to maybe, well, just have a thought on the Perfect Grade New. I'm sure Mecha Gaikotsu will complain about the tilting thing. Definitely. And maybe take 8 hours to do so. I didn't even get the piece that I need. Stupid. I mean, the new is the space type mobile suits. That's exactly like half the problem. With like me having a problem with a lot of the stuff, a lot of kits, because a lot of the designs from Gundam are space oriented, so naturally they will not function under gravity. They will have weight issues, but sometimes they're to be expected. I definitely have some of those experiences before, but I couldn't recall any of the off the top of my head. Yeah, it's kind of like dots but without the spinning, and you can also switch from high penetration to a low powered shot. So it's a yeah, that's where the variable part comes in. A shame they're not animated differently though, because in build, at least from build fighters, the F91 Imagine has like normal beams from the Vespers, and especially because like build fighters is definitely one of the most attentively animated series of all time in Gundam, because they have like so much attention to detail. It's mad. Like I said, I thoroughly maintain that Build Fighters and Thunderbolts has the best animation in the franchise, like one of the best animations. Of course, you can say that Unicorn has good animation, which it does, and then you can say Hathaway has good animation, which it does. I'm just putting Build Fighters and Thunderbolts on the top echelon of the of like good animation in Gundam. That looks weird. That looks like a cog. Like, this is supposed to be an ankle joint. Weird. No, that's supposed to be in the heel, but it serves kind of like a port for the ankle joint. That is such a weird design. That actually looks like a gear cog, and I would I wouldn't have been any wiser to know that. But yeah. G-Wish has a beam shield on the side MS, no? No, I don't think so. If you're talking about side MSs as side story MSs, we have the Jew, the Anavata, the Begirbo Torch. None of them have beam shields. And now that we have the Naion, and that doesn't have a beam shield, like the Fin Funnels fly too, so I don't think the weight in the world should matter too much. I don't know how they fly, or if they're even operable under gravity, but hey. Checking out with you guys to join us, most likely to see you then. Thanks for having you here, Golden Foxy. Have a good night. Okay. Also, the aerial funnels did the beam shield. Ah, that! I still don't think we, I still don't think we had any like indication of how strong the rifles are compared to that, because obviously that is technology that didn't come until the G-Wish proper. Oh, that wrapping Lamau, yep. Do you use an X method when wrapping the pallet? No, we basically stuck the open end under a box to anchor it. And my trainer taught me to wrap it from the top, then go to the bottom. Like, wrap it from the top a couple of times, go to the bottom, wrap that a couple of times, and then wrap it all the way back to the top. And make sure that we put a little bit of resistance when turning, just to wrap it tight. That's all it is. We don't go like up, down, whatever the X method is. So it's a far simpler way of doing it. That's how they treat rookies. Yep, exactly. I still can't convince myself to paint the real grade red frame. Kind of boring with early real grade. Kind of bored with early real grade for some reason. Don't. If you don't feel like doing it, don't. There's a manual. That's manual handling jobs for you. Nothing else to pass the time but have a complaint, and that's fine. Yeah. But unfortunately, it's true because they don't understand. Be a perfect grade, PG. Yeah. I'm gonna bet on that. Yeah. Side story. Good job, Super Chat. Maybe Char was right that the PG New Gundam be away from. I mean, the New Gundam didn't have any funnels until the end of the movie, so long as Bandai has a way to display it separately, then I'm sure it's gonna be fine. Oh, that's a good idea, NJ. Driving instructors are in crazy short supply. Yeah, especially. Like, one of the ideas is that I would be a bilingual driving instructor, because I know Cantonese, I know Mandarin, so for whoever decides to move in from who knows more Chinese than English, I can help them out. I disagree on that front. I think the test fit is really important. You can identify problem areas where scraping is likely, also sort out your seat length, etc, etc. Fair enough, that's fair enough. But the way like the way I approach it as a casual, if I didn't have to do reviews on this on these kits, I would just cut them out and send them to the paint booth. Like, that's me as a casual. Of course, more professionally, you'll prefer to you preferably have more steps to go into it before you actually start painting. But for me as a casual, that's just how I do things. Keep it simple and effective. So it depends on the way you want to approach the it depends on the way you want to approach your kits. Yay, more strike freedom kits. Ain't no way someone complains about the eye stickers. Oh, Chikatori. I'm glad you live under that rock, because Mecha Gaikotsu did indeed dock points for the D Gundam having stickers for eyes. And he constantly brings it up as well, saying that, oh, it's not premium enough. My voice is gone, so I couldn't really do the impression that much. But by the way, like, I have some sorts of revitalized obsession with voice acting. Some of it thanks to the amazing digital circus, but I've always had like a thing for voice acting, and I wanted to be a voice actor at one point. And since I don't really know the way to get into it professionally, I'm just doing it on the side, just having fun with it. So every single time I'm in the car on my own, I usually just do some like yelling and whatnot. And I sent samples to Jury's server, and whenever they catch wind of it, they always liked it. And that's the thing as well. Like, in the past, when I played Warframe, I still want to continue playing Warframe, but that's besides the point. But when I actively played Warframe, I was doing like character impressions of the different characters inside the game. So I can do I don't know what Ballas would say, but typically, because I already forgotten like the scripts for the Prime trailers. But I would always do like a Cephalon Ordis at some point. So, hello, operator. Operator, you have returned. Ordis is getting tired of waiting patiently for your return, operator. Like, I love doing those like stupid impressions, and I think the obsession just stems from me playing Overwatch back in the day, and it's like, come get your armor, Torbjorn, for the last time, I'm Swedish. It's just silly obsessions like that. And I may be doing it on a more like, I don't want to say professional, but I want to do like a more formal front, thanks to one of Jury's events. And I don't know like whether or not that's going to be publicized or not, but if I'm allowed to after the event is over, then I'll probably share it at some point. I don't know. Jury will have to fill me in on that. I'm just participating for the fun of it. Bill Fighter is just the best, man. Yep. Double Season 1 has the best animation for a main series. It's up there. I don't want to definitively say which series has the best animation, but I'm just listing some of the few. I've only watched Witch from Mercury. How does that rank animation-wise? I honestly think the animation in G-Witch is not necessarily that good. Like, don't shoot me down for this. This is just me expressing my personal opinion. But the animation in G-Witch, if it's not for the permit lines and well, just the permit lines, if I'm honest, the permit lines and anything that's got to do with the data storm and the permit scores and whatnot, anything that doesn't have to do with that is honestly pretty textbook. Like, I would have seen that from Build Divers, from Build Metaverse, from actually anything that came before G-Witch. That has just sort of like a textbook animation style that I don't really feel much for it. Not necessarily don't like, but I don't really feel too much towards that animation style. So for people saying that the animation is great, I want to half disagree on that. Because if you've seen Build Fighters, or if you've seen Thunderbolt, you'll definitely be spoiled with how well those series are animated. And speaking of being spoiled, I am thinking, because I have commissioned a series of expression avatars, so I want to do some more like opinionated stuff outside of reviews, so discussing lore and discussing general things to do with gunpla. Actually, I'm just gonna build this hand just because it's like the one thing left on this runner. So I want to do like a piece on whether or not we are spoiled as gunpla fans, just because of like knowing, like seeing this, the engineering on like especially G-Witch kits, which apparently sets a new standard for some reason. Like because of the engineering on stuff like the G-Witch kits and the more like recent high grades, that we often neglect that buying older kits means the engineering is more antiquated. And for definitely some people out there, they would expect to have like a more quote-unquote modern build experience, which I heavily dislike the term of. Because if you're buying a kit from the mid-2000s, you would expect it to have engineering from the mid-2000s. If you're buying one of the original gunpla from 79 or 80, you'd expect it to have engineering from the 79 or 80 era. You wouldn't expect like the original 1:144 scale AUG to have like 2026 engineering. That's just unreasonable. So it, like, because of how spoiled we are with gunpla nowadays, especially with the high part separation and the engineering, all the gimmicks and whatnot, we may have had our perceptions warped when it comes to buying older gunpla and not expecting it to be of its time. So, and most of this idea just came from the idea of, well, obviously Zaku Aurelius taking the piss out of Mekagai Kotsu for dissing on the of the high grade Banshee, and obviously that's kind of like an idea that I've had for quite a while, that we are spoiled and we don't appreciate the gunpla for what they are in their time. And I've been trying to rectify that with my reviews, and it's kind of like a lingering thing in the back of my mind, because I want to rate gunpla. Well, rate would be a strong word, but I want to review gunpla like as they are, like not considering when they're made or like how advanced their engineering is or how premium they may be. I honestly just want to review the package as the package, and if they delivered on it, and especially if they deliver on some stuff based on when they're made, then that's all I need from a gunpla kit. Especially like one example I have is the high grade GPO3 Stamen. I have that kit, not the Dendrobian by the way, I only have the Stamen. Don't make any dick jokes please, but I have the GPO3 Stamen, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, even though it's an old kit. It has antiquated engineering, crappy nut placement, seam lines all over the place, but it has the rifle, it has the folding shield, and obviously it also has the sub-arms. That's all I really want from the GPO3 Stamen. Would a revive be great? Sure, but it delivered on what I've expected of it. And even though like everything about the GPO3 Stamen high grade is antiquated, I still loved it as a kit. And honestly, from that's not the one. And honestly, from a certain cursory examination, I would still recommend you guys go for it, especially because it's being like a semi-regular reissue like in the recent years. So that's kind of like the idea that I'm getting for like a more documentary style video, and discussing whether or not we are spoiled as gunpla fans. I think they should do ground-based ones like the ground gym or the ground Gundam, or heck, any ground-use mobile suit that can withstand the weight of gravity. That's for sure. And of course, they should make the legs as heavy as possible. Not for accuracy or anything, just because a heavy support will result in more stability, especially if the center of gravity is higher up. I don't like Unicorn because of Banagher. Pacifist MC in a war story doesn't fit for me. Maybe you haven't seen Turn A then. Because Turn A, Turn 8, Laurent Sehak is a pacifist, and he's developed quite well. He's not afraid to go in for the kill. Well, not for the kill, but go in and disable their, like, go in and do some badass moves or something like that. I don't really know how to articulate it. And he's in one of the strongest mobile suits in the franchise. And yet he's a pacifist fighter that isn't afraid to, like, assert himself. I don't really know how to articulate, like, Laurent Sehak, but he's kind of like the definitive pacifist fighter that's done well in Gundam. Wait, does it really have a... Oh my god, it does have a metallic orange crotch gem. That's surprising to me. I thought it was blue. In Super Robot Wars, everyone has super high respect for judo. What was that implying? MJ, say that again? What do you mean say that again? Don't let it change from fighters to Diverse. Fighters are more about the hobby itself. Diverse is just super cyberverse. They tried to be Sword Art Online, but they failed miserably at it. That is until Build Diverse Re-Rise, where they literally introduced aliens. Furries, furries, actually. Just straight up furries. By the way, this is the Gundam Naion fully built up, body-wise. So what's left is the weapons, and how are we doing on time? 2 hours! That's far better than the Gundam Greep. Stream-wise, anyway. That's far better than the Gundam Greep. Wish for Mercury's mid-tier. For me, not bad, not good. Yeah, same. Laurent is a true pacifist and well-written. Definitely. I want another E.O. Fleming like mobile main character, or Judo Ashta. I have to rewatch Double Zeta. I don't remember what I watched it with, but if it's... No, I think I watched it with English subtitles, and a lot of it just flown by my mind. Just like Jerma, and he got into voice acting. That's nice. If a Gundam series involves around war, at least I think... At least I link MC, who are an actual soldier and pilot of the OMS team, 0083, Thunderbolt, or IBO. Yeah. Though, sometimes mercenary stories can be good. Well, like how else did the Astray series last so long? Dolo Season 1 has no reused animations. Neither does IBO Season 1. I don't really agree with you, but I had to disagree with time, which's animation is so good. The fight scenes are wonderfully done, some of the sickest fights choreography in ages. I mean, I can separate choreography with animation, and the choreography, it's fine. But honestly, I think the animation in G-Witch is so textbook that I really just don't feel anything for it. I don't like 00 due to the space magic GN particles, but I would recommend 00 to anyone who's tried watching Gundam. 00 is more heavily sci-fi than realistic, so just be warned about that. If you don't like heavy sci-fi takes on your Gundam, then 00 isn't for you. Season 2 is ignored by the movie and the side stories. The sides, I don't know much about the side stories, but what do you mean by Season 2 is ignored by the movie? Spoiled? All my favorite kids are lost behind PE Bandai. Fair enough, but I'm mostly talking about engineering. You still don't have a Zaku 1 review on your channel. I don't. Because the only Zaku 1 that I want to get is the Zaku 1 Sniper. Specifically Yonam Kirk's version. But by the way, if you guys have both versions of the Zaku 1 or have knowledge of it, what's the difference between the two? Because if barely anything is different between the normal Zaku 1 Sniper and the Yonam Kirk's version, then I might as well just pick one of them up and just see how it goes. The only thing, like my impression on the Zaku 1 is basically from how great it was from Unicorn. And I want to get that specific version. But if there's no difference or barely any difference between the normal Zaku 1 Sniper and Yonam Kirk's, then sure, fair enough, I'll just get one of them and just see how it goes. GPO 3 GPO3 also has a gorgeous sculpt, really lovely and close to the original line art. Definitely. You still, they don't understand its different generations. Nothing is spoiled. Nothing is spoiled. It's the attitude. The attitude is the thing that's spoiled. Like, being spoiled doesn't necessarily mean spoilers, but being spoiled means you're expecting something. Well, I don't know how to articulate it. I know how to use it, but I don't know how to articulate it. My bad. So yeah, to spoil is to harm the character of... No, that's the verb version. Where's the adjective version? Yeah, there we go. Harmed in character by being treated too leniently or indulgently. And to be honest, I think this discussion has like two ends of the spectrum, because for one, we may have people that expect this level of engineering from a kit that isn't of this time, but then there's also the other end of the spectrum where people can be very gatekeeping about the hobby just because they expected people who get into this hobby to be like real model builders and properly paint and repair and fortify, fix up their kits. And neither end is good. Neither end. So I just want to give my my take on the whole debate about whether or not we're spoiled in terms of gunpla. Have the same way about the Master Grade GPO2. I want new Gundam series, but where it's turned hard sci-fi, slow, clunky, believable, and it has no ARGB space magics and OP characters. That's kind of like why I don't like G-Witch. It's just pure magic, where no magic was established. Lauren used a nuke in a defensive way. Yep. Lauren is a pacifist that understands the limits of pacifism. And Lauren never disrespects his enemies unlike Kira. Yep. It looks so good. Yeah. Kirk's version is upgraded into commander type. So, parts difference? There's barely any difference. The Yonam version has a different shoulder and spare rifle barrels. The Yonam version also has tiny latches to attach it to the fat uncle that you have to glue in. So... I'm struggling to compute at the moment, but... So, the Yonam Kirk's version has the kickstand, where the normal version doesn't. Is that what you mean? I want the high-grade Zakuman Thunderbolt version with no restock in sight, unfortunately. Yeah, I think I called I hate old to kids the MGK attitude, because why not? That's your thing. That thing's not being restocked for years. Zaku too either. How's the stream going? The stream is going great, actually. How's a good time not to worry about that? In summary, get the Yonam version. Okay then. Okay then, I'll see if I can find it. I built my first Aoshima bike kit a while ago, and it was immediately humbled by how much more work I had to put in just to get it assembled. Yeah, filling it for now. That's my, that's kind of like where we should be in terms of, model kit builders. Sure, we can appreciate the engineering that's put into modern kits, but we should also respect the older kits for needing work. Because ultimately, the work is like where the magic of model building is. Like, no matter if you build tanks, if you build gunpla, if you build figures like Kamen Rider, One Piece, or if you're literally just building some blocks like the Millennium Puzzle from Yu-Gi-Oh! That's like the effort is where the magic is. So I think showing an appreciation for both ends of this, for both types, is where we should be at. In as a Gunpla fan. So old High-Grades and limited articulation, but still looks good in standing poses. Gym Command is my favorite of the bunch. Honestly, I think all the gyms in the back in the day share the same frame, like most of them, and I show appreciation for all of them. I have the Gym Type C and I have the Striker Gym. Both of them share the same frame and I like them all to bits. Granted, the Gym Type C I'm planning to turn into the Wagtail, and I still don't know whether or not I have that sort of like enough appreciation to have one as a standalone and then the other one as the Wagtail, but I do still appreciate what they went for in terms of that gym. And Yoda version was restocked a few. Nice! Time for bed. See you, folks. Nice for having you here, Naion. But if that's the case, I'm getting it. I'm jumping on that chance. Okay, I don't know how to segue into some other topics that I want to talk about, because there's one thing that I'm really excited about. A little bit of lore about me. Before I was into Gundam, of course I was into Michael Jackson. That's why my name popped about. But I was also into racing games. Like literally the first ever video game that I think I've played in memory was Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005. So that's not why 2005 is there. Like I said, it means like the number in my name means nothing. But having played Need for Speed and watched Top Gear growing up made me have like a liking to cars, and that's why I'm excited for Forza Horizon 6, which is coming out in May, to be taking place in Japan. I don't really like fuss over like people saying that, oh, it has like regular progression and whatnot, but for the fact that it's taking place in Japan means there's Japanese themed showcase events. And I'm gonna actually stop the build here and pull up the image that I sent in my own server. By the way, you can join my server with the link in the description. So I'm gonna save this, because this literally got me, I wasn't prepared for this. Because what they showed in the event was something I really am surprised about. There we go, screenshot, done. I gotta make sure to not ruin my stream layout with this. Here we go. This is the Toyota GR-GT, but look behind it. That's the showcase event from the game, and it's a bloody giant mech. Like naturally, Japan, the land of the rising sun, obviously will have a giant mech in the game. I don't think we'd be able to pilot it, but man, the theming of it. It's just the theming of it. Like, especially because it takes place in Japan. I don't know where in Japan, but regardless, having it take place in Japan, where my soul truly belongs, and having a giant mech in an event. Mate, I'm excited for it. I'm gonna be honest, old masquerades can be very disappointing. Hey, if it's disappointing for the time, then it's disappointing for the time. I wouldn't want to compare something from the 2000s to something that released recently. That's my attitude towards it. For potential side story, background to show like, oh, the MS team, something, that's basically, Yovi, that's basically Vanda's Heart for you. If you haven't read Vanda's Heart, please do. I highly encourage you to. Naion is a really good design. In fact, Vanda's Heart designs are really good. The Jew takes the crown for me, such a clean design here. Is it because it's Kanatage Ebikawa, or just for the design in general? With the Lafrith Jew, it definitely gives some Gion vibes to me. Like, you know, the Gion from G-Reco. Mostly because of the face area. Because the Gion has sort of like an LCD screen that kind of emotes in a way. Kind of like, not Shockwave, kind of like Soundwave from Transformers Prime. And with the face itself being the one of the actual shell units on the Jew, kind of reminds me of that. Not to mention that the color scheme and of course the overall design is it does remind me of the Gion in a way. Even though the Gion was designed by Ippei Gyobu, while the Lefrith Ju is designed by Kanataka Ebikawa. I feel you, man. Same here. Need for Speed Most Wanted is a gem. Yes, definitely. Mine was Atari, Sega, and Nintendo. Mine was PC with a PS2 controller? PS2, PS3? I don't... Like, when was the PS3 released? Because whenever my dad hooked up a controller to the PC for me to play, it was definitely a PlayStation controller. I just couldn't remember whether or not it was PS2 or PS3. But I have an obsession with cars, and I still like it ever since. I still like cars, like, even to this day. That's why I still play some sort of racing games. But modern racing games just kind of have like the soul taken out of them. Like for Need for Speed, there was really like no real stakes, no real goal to work towards. After you're complete with the story, you're done. And for the crew, I could definitely pop back on because there's like a ton of new stuff in the crew. But because they've deviated from a more like grounded story for the crew to become more of like a what is it called? More of like a festival kind of thing. Basically Forza Horizon. That I just don't really feel the urge to go back and play it. And same thing for Forza Horizon, because ever since like Forza Horizon 3, I think, they've removed the whole wristband idea that allows you to go up to different tiers, and you basically get instant access to the best cars in the game. So there's no reason to grind out the game and work your way up from there. So modern like racing games are kind of like soulless in a way, and that's why like I kind of took a break from them, because I just don't really feel like playing something without an aim. That's kind of like where a lot of video game burnout comes from, is that you've been playing it for so much, you have nothing else to do, and yet you feel obliged to keep playing. So I've taken a break from that. But thankfully Forza Horizon 6 is gonna be released in May, and revitalize my love for racing games. And to be honest, I was kind of getting like my racing game fix in my own car. Like, not that I'm racing anybody or anything, but it's just that I want to drive. I want to like get a drive in whenever I feel like it. And honestly, after driving for like, what is it? Excluding my lessons, I've been driving since last May. Well, last June is when I got my car, but last May is when I started properly driving. And the more I did it, the more I just loved it. Like, I love just being on the road with my own thoughts and just, I don't know, something about driving, keeping my mind occupied is something that I really, really liked. So, I'm usually getting my driving fix from actually driving nowadays, instead of hopping onto a racing game that I have no idea what to do in. And yeah, my favorite car is the Subaru Impreza 22B STI, so it's one of the ones from the early 2000s then. I felt like you sounded like one of those Japanese glazers that aren't discussing the negatives. I definitely am not. I'm like, if you're talking about me discussing the GPO3, then consider it me withholding my opinions until I had like a clearer, a better look at it. Because if there are flaws worthy of bringing up in a kit, I definitely would not sugarcoat it. I think, I don't want to bring it up too much, but I think my my Gigantic Arms Gunpla TR5 Prairie review says a lot. Mostly because I raged in that video, which isn't necessarily the best. Ooh. Okay. But personally, I like the Gunpla mold, and I do have like a lot of appreciation for it. But that doesn't stop the TR5 gigantic arms version to be like a waste of parts and a waste of money, just because it constitutes like a lot of the kit's contents is like freaking leftovers they could have easily prevented. So trust me, I'm not trying to glaze any kit or dunk on any kit. I'm trying to be like neutral, and I'm trying to look at kits from a more objective point of view. So if there's a flaw that is worthy of pointing out, I'll definitely point it out. No, I meant an 08 MS team, which for Mercury side story, MJ. You just wanted a more grounded version of G-Witch, which is essentially what Vanitas Heart is doing. But I don't think they're gonna go like directly into the era of when the main series takes place. So there is some potential if they do plan to develop whatever they've left out from the original, well, from the original run of the manga. There is potential with Vanitas Heart. I'm gonna say it, Need for Speed Heat is probably one of the best actual Need for Speed games. Story may be simple, but yeah, that's the idea. I'm not gonna talk about Unbound. Unbound, no. I played through the main campaign and I've never touched it since. Well, sure, I've gotten the DeLorean, but that's basically it. Before my interest in Gundam was Robotech, GoBots, and Transformers. That's not bad actually. I can see you playing Grand Theft Auto. I had played GTA before, but I just dropped it. Just because, again, it felt so aimless. GTA felt... Like, the last time I played GTA was when the Cayo Perico heist came out. And we... Like, my friend and I grinded a lot on that mission. And of course we threw in some casino heist stuff in there, but ultimately, it just felt like a clicker game. Like, not necessarily because it is a clicker game, but you're sat on there grinding away for what? Just to accumulate more stuff. And I think that's kind of where like how like the aimlessness comes from. Because like somewhat similar to Cookie Clicker, if you sat on there and aimlessly grinded out the game just to add some stuff to your accumulation, then what's the point? So that's why I kind of grew tired of GTA, and especially because I don't really have that many friends in real life. I cannot really get up to the shenanigans that actually made GTA famous in the first place, like having some funny moments and whatnot. Also because I don't have any creativity. So I just kind of dropped the game for a while, and I never got back on it since. Driving is indeed chill unless road rage happens. Driving a manual feels like piloting a mech sometimes. That's why I like driving a manual. And in fact, I don't want to drive an automatic so long as I can help it. So long as the British government doesn't ban any petrol cars that are in circulation, I am sticking to manual as long as I could. Because I just like how involved it can get. Like, I know that driving, a lot of people would just like to keep it simple. A lot of people drive just because they couldn't help but need to drive. But personally, I drive it for the fun of it, on top of, well, needing to drive to work. So having a manual transmission is indeed fun for me. But I also do get road rage sometimes. How does this go again? I do also get road rage, but I don't act on it. Not unlike those stupid Audi drivers that constantly do reckless things. Actually, I'm not... Like, the stereotype of people who drive German cars being absolutely reckless is not unfounded. I have consistently seen people who either drive Audis or BMWs act completely reckless on the road. And they're some of the most annoyed bunch as well. I'm gonna deal with that later. Just because I've seen Audis speed on the motorway or BMWs that overtake people on a single carriageway. Those are the types of people that I get extremely annoyed by. And also, by the way, speaking of which, there are other, like, for God's sake, I couldn't... Huh? I almost got T-boned the other day. Just because some bastard was speeding down the road. They were going at like 40 or 50 miles an hour in a 30, and I was trying to peep out of a junction just to get out, and they bloody honked their horn at me for seeing me naturally because we're about to be in impending danger. But personally, as much as I could like do more observations and actually see that bastard coming my way, that guy was speeding in a 30 mile an hour zone. Like, there's a reason the speed limit is in place. So I almost got T-boned. Thankfully, I floored it and got myself onto the main road. But I'm still relatively annoyed by it, just because that was, I don't know, that guy wasn't following the rules, and that's why he almost got both of us into trouble. So yeah, it's just honestly quite ridiculous that even happened in the first place. Thankfully, I'm fine. Otherwise, I won't be here. But yeah, it's still stupid annoying. What about Armored Core 6? Did you play it? I played it. Yes, Armored Core 6. Mostly because thanks to Bandai trying to expand its expand the plan. Did I actually cut out the wrong vents or something? Because this is not going well. No, I cut out the right vent. So what's going on with it? But okay, my browser's out of memory. But yes, I did play Armored Core 6, and it's mostly thanks to that I did decide to do reviews for the kits from the series. Is that a nub or something? That must be a broken peg, but sandwich it. I'll just sandwich the vent piece in, and it'll be fine. But yes, I did play Armored Core 6, and that's primarily the reason why I do reviews for the kits of them. BMW drivers don't use turn signals, most of them. Yeah, neither do we. Neither do the BMW drivers over here. Like, any person who drives a German car, you either live up to the stigma or you live against it. There's no other way. Honestly, what the hell is wrong with that piece? Yeah, I'm just gonna do this. Balance it, clip it in. I'll be fine. That's great, and I'll always be Fly ever since. I've always been Fly, especially in Star Wars when it first came out in 1979. That's not 1977. Ah, I see. Okay, I see. I bought the Zeta Gapland last month for 20 euros. That's not bad, actually. Not bad for a Gapland, especially with it being the original. And honestly, I do have like a lot of respect from for the Gapland, just because of his engineering. I remember Spy Hunter Arcade game in 1983. So you've been around for that long. SUV drivers are indeed the worst, yeah. But SUV drivers over here, they they're nowhere near as bad as the German drivers or German car drivers or van drivers. Van drivers are the absolute worst. In fact, this morning, in a road near where I live, there were 2 lorries and a van that had a crash, and the guy in the van is in critical condition, as far as I've heard anyway. I don't know who caused the accident, but I wouldn't be surprised if the van driver was the one who caused the accident. Just knowing for a fact how crazy van drivers can get. People talking about cars just because we're talking about driving and whatnot, followed by pickups. Driving on a slope becomes a skill check with manuals. I'm pretty much getting that down, man. A miracle, because especially hill starts with a manual transmission, it isn't exactly hard. You just have to lift the clutch to the biting point and then mash on the throttle. Don't mash it too hard though, otherwise you'd get wheel spin. But you just need some good clutch and throttle control, ride the clutch, and you're off. And in fact, I don't necessarily know why, like, driving instructors over here teach people to set off with just the clutch in a manual transmission. Just because the best way to not stall with a manual transmission is to lift the clutch to the biting point and then give it a little bit of gas. So, because the way a car stalls is if the RPM drops below the minimum running range. So for my car, it's about 750 or something like that. So basically, if the RPMs drop too far below 1,000 RPMs, you will be more likely to stall. So that's why you give a little bit of gas just to get the car going as you raise the clutch. That way you won't stall. And because I think the main thing is that they were afraid of people slingshotting themselves forward when they set off with the gas and the clutch. And that definitely is the case for me when I started learning driving. I was like, should I give a little bit of gas? What if I put too much gas and I slingshot myself forward? That won't be the case. I've tried doing that in my own car now, and I realized how stupid of a not necessarily stupid, how unfounded of a worry that was. But driving instructors over here only teach people to set off with just the clutch, and that's how people stall, especially on hill starts. And they never really say, oh, you should give it a little bit of gas, not until it's absolutely necessary to do so, which I find really, really weird. Because setting off, riding the clutch, giving it a little bit of gas is basically it's basically the best way to set off with a manual transmission. So why they skimped out on that detail, I have no idea. And I think another way to see this is that if you're setting off with just the clutch, especially with a petrol car or a gasoline car in America, the engine would not have enough torque to get the car to move. And well, if you're doing a diesel car, if you're driving a diesel car, that's a completely different situation. Just because diesel has far more torque compared to gasoline or petrol. Hell, I would be Mad Max the Road Warrior. Yep. Subaru drivers are the most chill, at least in Germany. There aren't really any Subaru drivers here. I've barely seen a Subaru ever since I got to England. The only times I've seen a Subaru are when people are just driving around in their Imprezas, and that's it. I've never seen the Forester, never seen the Legacy. I haven't seen any of those regular Subarus. Oops. Well, is that what you guys were talking about? This thing breaking? Huh. Well, I can easily glue that down, it's fine. But let's see. Okay, so this slides down. Yeah, I will have to glue this down just to make it work, but it's no harm, no foul. Okay, so push it in, pull back. All is good. Yep, I'll glue that down. I'll glue that down in a bit. SUV and pickups are the best though. Other drivers are less likely to bully you because you have a larger car on average. Someone said Germany always thought about sausages. I like sausages. Yeah. I definitely wouldn't speed, and I hate careless speeders. They suck. Yep. Sup MJ, how's the Naion on your place? Hi Sirenus. It's fine. Well, I just broke the rifle, but it's nothing a quick glue job won't fix. It will look a little bit ugly on the inside, but it's no harm, no foul. How does that look actually under a normal case? Because the detail is where it's broken. Yeah, I mean, it's an easy gluing job, it's fine. But we've discussed quite a lot of stuff on this stream, like driving, like my job, the amazing digital circus, Forza Horizon, a lot of stuff. Well, I'm not painting this thing anyway, so it's fine. But yep, that's a potential point of breakage, just in case you guys are building the Gundam Naion. I'm sorry, but I want to get this repaired and lickety split. Yep, so that should be good at the moment. I'll put that back on and leave it secure for the night. Yep, still functions perfectly. Just don't stare into the barrel. Why is the chat not talking about cars? That's great. That's great. I'm glad you didn't get injured or hurt. Yeah. If I want to try an armored core kit and get one, which one would you recommend? Well, like, where's your budget, by the way? Because at the moment we have I'm just gonna get this joint softened up so I don't break it again. So at the moment we have like huge stuff like Liger Tail and Open Faith, but we also have smaller stuff like Nightfall and Steel Haze. Then again, you can also go for the stock ones like the Orbiter and the Melander. Those are going to be even cheaper. But if I would recommend, as far as the ones I've built, I would recommend definitely go for Liger Tail. Apologies. The Naion is kind of an awkward design, not gonna lie. It looks cool, but also can be a bit awkward, quite pinpointy. Why? Because it is designed by Wataru Inata, the designer from the Pale Industries, and also for Armored Core 4 Answer. I'm back. How are things now? Welcome back in, Dakat. Things are fine. Broke the rifle, but it's an easy gluing job that doesn't harm the functionality, so I'm not gonna fuss. I'm not gonna cry over spoiled milk. Just gonna go ahead and keep carrying on. I just want a Lamborghini and a Ferrari. Just, honestly, the appeal of supercars just kind of wore off on me, especially now that I started driving my own car, like with actual real-world considerations. Because those engines, they're definitely gonna be guzzling like a lot of a lot of fuel, especially based on Top Gear with the Lamborghini Aventador. Even if you're just doing like regular driving, it'll just do 4.7 miles to the gallon. So it's not the most fuel efficient. It's going to be extremely expensive to insure. And it's not like you have any practicality either, just because the front boot literally can only put like a handbag in. Because what would be normally boot space or trunk space for your Americans is used for the massive V12 engines. So it's not the most practical. It's not the best cars to get as daily. And to be honest, most of the appeal for supercars for me just kind of wore off because of internet stars, like internet celebrities that do jack doodly, like especially those influencers that copy like either Mr. Beast or just go around making a fool out of themselves, and they buy supercars as status symbols. And honestly, I absolutely detest that. And instead of appreciating a supercar for what it is, which is basically a piece of engineering art, you basically have people who made their money out of being an absolute knobhead flex them as like a symbol of their own wealth, which is an absolute turn off for me. So supercars have kind of wore off on me over the years. So I'm just gonna keep my supercar obsessions in video games and leave it at that. So at the moment, my dream car is the Honda Civic Type R FK8, which goes for at least 20 grand in pounds. So I don't know. It's far more affordable compared to other people's dream cars, because I know one of my colleagues wants an Aston Martin. But honestly, having a somewhat semi-performance car that is quick yet practical and far less of a hassle to use on the daily, that's all I need in real life. Yup. Just broke it again. Even though this yeah, I'm just gonna let this break. I'm gonna analyze what happened inside, because this is definitely not normal. This is not supposed to be able to spin. Oh god, the piece itself is warped. Great. How does that happen? Like, how does this even happen? I may be able to bend this back in place with a hairdryer, but honestly, what a shame. Just what a massive shame. So this one functions perfectly. Meanwhile, this one is a little bit warped. I skipped Naion just because it was over design. I see. I like the Guazu build. It's just a Melander. Right, let's see if this piece can contain the warping. Okay, it's mildly contained, but I'm not putting my bets on it. I'm gonna put this back on. Yep, it just needs some gluing down. So the blue piece contained the warping. So I just need to put this piece back on and glue this down. Well, it's nice that they try to implement a mechanic into this, but would I say it's human error? Yes. But I don't know if it's entirely my fault or the or just the fault of the engineering that caused this. So if you guys have built the Naion, please tell me whether or not this is purely human error. Because my gut feeling is telling me that the engineering definitely has some sort of working around to do. Well, at least this... okay. The engineering is definitely some sort of fault that caused both of my rifles to end up this way. Sorry, I need to I want to get this fixed up before I continue engaging with you guys. So yeah, there we go. And this is situated back in far better, so I'll just let the glue dry and go ahead. To be honest, what if I know? Loran is a Gandhi follower in my eyes. Pacifist, he used a nuke if his pacifism wasn't enough. Maybe. Yes, I'm your elder. The body, the weapons aren't my thing. Prefer the fireworks and Zowart. Yes, I broke it. Yes. But I broke a stationary part, which isn't exactly the worst thing in the world. Could the stream stats just go away? And I want to use the scroll bar. People buy cars to let them rot in garages. It's like owning a horse and not letting it run. Yeah, exactly. Hey, ADF 16. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hey, I reviewed the Liger Tail. The new Renault 5 looks surprisingly good. Yeah. I really hate over design slots Chinese to selling. It's simple and effective. Yep, same. Guazhou is a great game. A 30-minute mission releases to build it. No, we still need like the plasma shield, I think. Some bootlegs are pointless, like 30-minute missions bootlegs. Yeah, I've seen like the stupid 30-minute fantasy bootlegs. They're literally trying to get themselves shot down. I assume it was to help drivers learn to find the bite point. Yeah, I assume that. But at some points they need to be told that giving it a little bit of gas would have helped a lot better. Are you getting the third-party 1:144 scale re-high-A's? Maybe. Maybe, it depends. Because at the moment I don't really want to commit myself to too many projects. MJ, you had the G-Quack Stomp right. How big is the box? Master grade size. Master grade size, but very thin. The storyboard just got Nobel Berserker in this weekend. That's nice, Sensual. That's nice. I don't like special systems, but it's still a nice way to get in a Nobel Gundam. The Dom is like a Menji Buster box. Yup, big box, not quite thick. Chinese over-designed, many MG purists praise them non-stop. What are some examples? I don't think the Snarkets have that sort of like unadulterated praise. Might due to the amount of inner frame details and gimmicks, most hate the surface details that you pointed when bombarded with heights. Prefer simple details with great proportions. Yep, supercars are awesome, but the economical situation has already been cheaper to purchase and maintain durable, practical car like Toyota. Yeah, exactly. My dream car is the Zabungle. Perfect for the road and off-road via feet situations. If only we had like stuff like that in real life. Wouldn't it be awesome? Like, instead of buying a instead of buying an SUV or like a proper off-road car, just have a Zabungle. The super impressive 22B still costs around 500-600k, but that's the point of a dream car, haha. I think it's that expensive no matter in what currency, because it's a classic. Whatever options you can access in your country, these spare parts for repairs and maintenance, but all the subscription BS and electronic gimmicks. Yeah, subscription things on cars just don't make sense. That's why I'm never gonna get a Mercedes-Benz. They've been pulling that crap since they tried to start up their EQ line, as far as I believe. So I'm especially not gonna buy an electric car just because it's an automatic. Like funnily enough, that's an automatic no-go for me. I'm just gonna cut out all these pieces just because they're what they remain on the channel, well, on the runner. But yeah, I don't dream about a supercar. I have dream kits to buy. Yeah, exactly. Right now, I want the Renault 5 on the Honda N-Box. What's that? What's the Honda N-Box? I haven't even heard of it before. Get out. Get out. Ah, that thing. That looks nice, actually. Nice-ish. Good old practical Honda N-Box. It looks a little bit ridiculous, but whatever floats your boat. Slightly for the planet is probably only negative on otherwise amazing kits. Yeah. Fuel power cars, yeah. A touchscreen can be, my car has a touchscreen, but at least it's a very basic touchscreen. Like, all it does is show me the car's stats, and allow me to use Android Auto. That's all I need in a car's touchscreen. I don't want, like, I don't know if I've had this debate with you guys or not, but I hate it when cars put everything behind the touchscreen. Like, especially with stuff like the climate control and just the heating for the car in general. So like demisters and that sort of stuff. Like putting such essential ancillaries behind a bloody touchscreen which you have to navigate like 50 different submenus to get to. No mate, that's gonna be very unsafe to use. Okay, so these have distinct sides that each of them go in. So that's one of them, and then the cylinders, and then the casing goes in with the handles. Okay, got it. Such a tiring build, but whatever. We're closing on 3 hours. I know you might not be interested. If you're willing to, please try Limbus Company. The game has one of the better stories. Is it a gacha game? That's what I want to know. Because if it is a gacha game, I don't want to invest myself too much into it. Like I barely have enough time for myself, and I haven't really logged onto G Generation Eternal recently just because I don't have much time. So if Limbus Company is yet another gacha game that requires like high maintenance from me, then I'm sorry, I'm not going to be looking into it. A Tesla gear shifters being on the screen should be illegal. Yeah, like I don't understand why. Like, why would you put everything behind a touchscreen? Like I know what they're trying to do. They're just trying to save on costs, because every single button is an investment. And I know manufacturers are just trying to follow on Tesla's coattails, but the main reason they are cutting out like physical buttons from cars is just to save on those extra pence that they could cut out of the production costs. And that to me is very ridiculous. Because you want your car to look futuristic at the cost of user experience and safety. Like, why? Is it really worth it at all? Honda N-Box is a K car, a lot of comfort and space for the size. Ah, that's what K cars mean. I see. At least it's not a clear color kit, so those are too delicate. Yeah, fair enough. And the way the rifles broke is in a hidden place anyway, so I can probably just, let me see. Yeah, I could probably just add in some gray paint into it and just mask the damage. So all's well that ends well. It's a design flaw. I wouldn't deny human error, but it's definitely a design flaw. So kind of like the Gundam EX in a way. But thankfully, it's not a flaw that is worthy of buying a separate copy for. Google Honda E interior. Huh. I mean, I had the Auto Trader page up, so I should take a look at it later on. Nimbus is normally a gacha game. I see. The least gacha of them. I see. So it should be able to be played without indulging in the gacha mechanics. Then you shouldn't cross off all Mercedes. That I won't cross off. It's more the recent stuff that they've been doing that pisses me off, especially with those subscription things in a car. And to know that like car manufacturers have the right and the power to shut down your car whenever they please, that's unsettling to me, isn't it? Like I've heard recently that Porsche has actually shut down all of their cars in Russia one day. And that's more like an exceptional case just because they're pulling out from Russia. But in more like down-to-earth cases, you also get like Tesla Cybertrucks that get shut down in the middle of the road just because you've done something that Tesla doesn't like. And doesn't that just sound dystopian to you? Like, you buy a car, it's yours, but yet the company gets to keep track of your journey and your details and have the power to shut down the car or the vehicle under the company that you spend your hard-earned money on. Like, that just sounds so dystopian to me, to have like corporations be like, I don't know, be like hounding over you and making sure that you're, I don't know, devoted to them or something, or just not doing stuff that they don't like. Like, it sounds so weird to me. You like the first Daihatsu Copen, very cute K-car roadster. I've seen the Copen on Top Gear and I actually like how cute it is. And I know I'm a small guy, I'm 5'4", but something about like me considering practicality and also power. By the way, power is also a very important stats in when buying a car for me. Not because I want the thrill, but I'll talk about that after talk about the Copen. It's a very cute car, very cute roadster, but something about its size just I don't know, it doesn't feel practical enough for me. And onto the subject of power, because a lot of the cars, like the Daihatsu Copen and all of those smaller cars. Oh god, no. I don't feel like because they're so small, they will have to have small engines. And to me, I don't think that means they will have a lot of power. And I've seen like a handful of cases on the motorway where a car literally just does not have enough power to get up to motorway speeds, so they're just literally holding everybody up. Please tell me you function properly, please. Oh god, I get the problem now. I built the barrel backwards. That's not why it broke, by the way. I'm still gonna partly blame the engineering on that one, but I built the barrel backwards, that's why it's not collapsing all the way. But at least it's functional now, which is good. So like stuff like the Vauxhall Adam or the Seat Me, the Volkswagen Up, the Peugeot 107, the Citroen C1, that sort of small car. They're small, they're slow, they're impractical, and I don't think they have enough power to like safely get up to motorway speeds, which is very dangerous. So I don't really get the appeal behind those things. That's why I say, like, considering power being like another important stat when buying cars, just to make sure that you can safely drive them around without having to hold everybody up. Did you know that if you sell your Tesla, you're blacklisted from buying another one? I don't. Like, is that like a worldwide thing or something? Because I've never heard of that. Need some help finding more IBO kits. Probably just needs more reissues. As far as I've heard, they're getting reissued like, I don't want to say fairly recently, but some of them are getting reissued, I think. I could be wrong on that, so please correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah. Okay, so the arms are open C clips. Typical Bandai. And that goes on the back. The E-up is amazing. It's like a red barchetta. Wait, I'm missing something, aren't I? Shooting cross off the old Mercedes is like red barchetta. I must be missing some context there. Imagine if future Bandai implemented subs and DRMs on their gunplas. Did not renew subs or use bootleg parts in that kits gets obliterated instantly. What? Literally turning a plastic model into a plastic explosive if it detects like the wrong parts? Like, I would fear that, definitely, because that would literally impede on the whole thing about gunpla is freedom. And speaking of which, I don't know if I had any part to do with this, but like if you guys know Weston Harris Design, like a very close acquaintance of mine, they actually got their I'm actually gonna toss these away. They actually got their original Etsy page nuked just because of copyright issues. I don't know if my reviews have anything to do with it, but I fear it might. But that just kind of gets in the way of the whole gunpla is freedom kind of thing, because you can design your own parts and you can maybe just, I don't know the rights thing behind this, but in my opinion you should be able to like exercise your freedom with your gunpla, including designing stuff that Bandai hasn't released yet that are under the Gundam IP. So to have somebody nuked off the face of Etsy just because of that was not good, if I'm honest. Like, sure, gunpla is freedom, but only if you use our parts. That isn't freedom then, is it? But yes, here is the Gundam Naion fully completed. I think the only thing that I have left to build is the alterable bayonet. But honestly, this thing looks so good. I know I broke the rifles. I'm gonna close them actually. I know I broke the rifles, but they look... That's just a minor hiccup in the grand scheme of things. The entire kit as a whole, I still like it to bits. Freedom is an illusion, yes. I feel like if you're talking with my dad, either you choose to be buddies over cars or just something else. Yeah, freedom is a mobile suit, yep. Copen is more of a cruiser car. More of a Grand Tourer, I would say. Well, maybe it doesn't have the stats of a Grand Tourer, but yeah, anything that has a dropping roof is more like a cruiser car. Like one of my colleagues actually has a Gen 2 Miata or an MX-5, but this just, honestly, the metallic orange really helps it. I don't know if I would prefer the flat orange or metallic orange, but of course the shell unit mate, they acted the design a lot. I don't know if I want to paint the orange into a different sort of metallic orange, and I don't know if I want to take the kits apart. I don't know if even if it's possible now. No, it definitely is possible with the rifles. They just sandwich in. So no, I can definitely take it apart and paint it in my own orange to make it shinier, and then leave them off, spray the entire kit in matte, and have something that doesn't have an injection swirls on them. That would be very nice. And of course, looking at the venting design over here, yes, it's clearly the Legolas on the back, except it doesn't have a tail, it just has 2 gun binders. This one is a ball, the bottom one is a ball joint, so I shouldn't worry about that. The top one is a peg and a hinge with a rotating joint. And of course, these rifles go in. I'm not going to adjust them too much now, just because I'm scared of them. And then the rifle barrel comes down, like that. Very nice. What did they say about the rifles? The Valja. Pyro is going to overwhelming firepower on its own. Optimized beam output with long range shooting when operating in tandem with the Rinko. Basically being the Strike Freedom. So, yeah, it's a pretty cool kit. So let me get the bayonet done and continue with you, just chat with you guys a little bit. Paint with orange chrome, not necessarily. Paint transparent orange over silver chrome. I'm actually thinking of mixing some metallic red with the, what is it, the blue gold that I've got from that is under the Mr. Hobby line. Okay, the alterable bayonets is after the beam sabers. Okay. So maybe I can make like a smooth-ish and sparkly kind of orange with those 2 paints. Because if I can get it done in one coat, then I will get it done in one coat. And especially because these are similar colors, I don't necessarily have to prime them in black just to get it to shine more. But obviously, it will be the more professional option. Still funny how the real Grey Strike Freedom has no gold metallic frame parts, because it's using the no wait, does it have a flat gold for the inner frame? I forgot. I only remember it having like a kind of puke-ish gold for the frame and chrome gold for the wings. And the wing frame was extremely tough to assemble just because you have to C-clip the opening panels into place, and that was extremely hard for me back when it first came out, obviously. So remind me, does it have like a puke gold frame, or like not a metallic injection gold or something? Somewhat bronze or copper. I found a nice water-based paint from Legendary that looks nearly like the slightly light and muted gold they used in the line art. Sprays quite quickly using an airbrush too. Legendary paints. I don't think I've ever heard of them, but it's worth looking into. I feel like there's a big chat delay. I mean, the old 80s Mercedes-Benz are cool, need a subscription, it's not that... And that not owning your paid car in the future is like the Rush song. Ah. In lore, this suit is designed before or after the Caliborn. Never read the manga. Logically speaking, this would have been designed after the Caliborn, because the Caliborn and the Lefrith were in like an arms race, and because of the safety concerns, the Lefrith won out, and the Caliborn was seized, I think? Seized by the Space something League or something? I don't know, but the Caliborn lost to the Lefrith because of the safety concerns, so both of them will have existed before the Vanitas incident. And then this takes place in AS-105, I think. And the Lefrith Jew existed way before then. I think the same thing would go for the Lefrith on Avatar. But this thing literally has no known affiliation, and the manual doesn't divulge anything much either, except that it has like a special system called Permit Flux. So I don't know. I don't know what it's affiliated with, but I'm fairly certain that it is... Wait a minute. We have a leftover part. Okay. So we do have a leftover part, but it's nothing major, so I'll cut that out. So I'm fairly certain that the Gundam Naion is built after the Vanitas incident. It looks a little bit boring because it's just an all-white weapon. But a pole arm for a Gundam no less is pretty refreshing. Never mind an alterable pole arm, because I don't think we've had that at all in G-Witch. So, only downside to the kit to me is no universal backpack adapter. That too. But I think the major downside is definitely the rifle construction. But here we go. Here's the alterable bayonet with the beam effect. So that's essentially the kit built, and I'm gonna call for final. I'm gonna go for final call on chat just to catch up, and I'm gonna be ending the stream soon. And I'm gonna give you guys an update before I end the stream, so don't go yet. So the current idea is that because I have tomorrow and Thursday off, I'm gonna be either devoting myself to completing the Gundam Greep video, and if the assets come in soon, then I'm fairly certain that I'll be able to get the video out within these 2 days. But my aim is to get the principal editing done by tomorrow, and I'm gonna build the GN flag on my own. So I'm not gonna be building that on stream, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. So I'm going to build the GN flag on my own and continue, and maybe I'll stream something else next week, because next week I have Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off. So I may be able to do something either on Thursday or Friday, and I'll be streaming a build from my backlog. Maybe Open Faith, maybe the Karuga, or maybe even starting my build on the Alcade Pink 2, so, which is a China plot kit. So if you guys are interested, definitely subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for that. And obviously with the Gundam Greep video, I'm going to be implementing the changes that I proposed in the past. So definitely stay tuned for that. And as far as I have now, I don't really have too many updates left to implement. It's just, I don't know, I want to really focus on getting 2025 done. Cheese gold frame, unlike the Strike Freedom Revive, which has one of the true metallic gold metallic frame parts, at least for the sticking out parts. Ah, I see. Yeah, it's been a long time since I built the real great Strike Freedom. Excuse me. Caliban was the first. One of the first, as far as I know, but I don't think it's the first because it was in a race with Lefrith. The way Naion holds the gun is almost similar to Caliban. It's a pole, but it's not necessarily a broom. So metallics, I'm not sure how to go about doing it. Wait a minute, you said something. Every time someone said there's freedom in China, it's always that because there's actual freedom Gundam in China. Yeah. After, only downside is the kit. Caliban was even before the Frith. I think they existed at the same time, but I'm not sure. Metallics, metallics. You just sprayed over it. It's fine. I did that for my Mighty Strike Freedom and Infinite Justice Type 2. I don't know why the screen white and red custom would fit. Okay, you're a little bit sharp-brained, Sirenus. Technically, it's one of the 2 prototypes. I've anticipated the Frith is actual prototypes and the Caliban 2 is dangerous for its own good. Yep, exactly. Ewak Zack, a kit you will review because it looks very interesting. Not my priority, and it looks rather off. So not a priority, but maybe I'll consider it in the future. Because mostly, well, the side stories stuff and the more like background stuff, not necessarily the most popular, so I can easily nab one if I wanted to. Don't forget to take some rest, man. yes, I will definitely take some rest. Take some rest when I can. But I'm gonna talk about the behind the scenes stuff, by the way, because my avatar apparently is apparently Chikutori has had a lot of fun designing my avatar, and he's done the whole anime thing, or like the anime game style thing, where the face and the ears are the face, the eyes, the mouth. I think the mouth as well. Mouth and the ears are separate from the face and the head. So if I want to change expressions, oh yeah, the glasses are a separate asset as well. So if I want to change expressions, I'm asking him to commission different expressions without changing the poses, then I could definitely easily do that. Though since my inspiration is Fiznom and I've been watching his streams recently, like his past streams recently, I think I might ask for something more. But don't quote me on that, Chikutori. Don't quote me on that. I'll have a better idea whenever this whole new thing gets settled in. SOB, you build that quick. Yep, I did build that quick at a cost, but I did build that quite quickly. Do you see my take about? Yes, I've seen your comment about overdesigned China pla. Looking great, good job. But yeah, if you guys really if you guys like me to commission more expressions, please definitely tell me in the in chat or in the comments. Ewak Jack is P-Band. I said it was just that was cut from the anime. Oh, that's a shame. More jesters? I won't mind. I had the Jester canon and I liked it. But yeah, I've given you guys the updates and I finished off the kit. So that's basically gonna wrap it up for this stream. So thank you all so much for popping by and tolerating my my senseless rants. And hope you guys are looking forward to the next video and the streams. And don't forget to join the Discord server in the description below. And feel free to donate to the stuff. Donate to the crowdfunding goal that I've set up. And that's basically gonna wrap it up for me. I'll go and get some rest now. Thank you all so much for popping by. And I'll see you all next time.